Daniel did not offer a specific time frame. And in college basketball, Kansas is the preseason number one team, followed by Alabama, UConn, Houston, and Iowa State.
It's time.
You know what time it is?
The game for Tuscaloosa's longest running sports show.
The biggest goal of our team,
especially in the first half,
we at Bama, we're trying to be the best.
Always is to win a national championship.
Something cool to look back on.
We don't want to waste a failure.
You're inside the game.
John Mechie on the ground.
Appreciate your interest in the game.
On your home for Alabama sports.
Alabama wins.
Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app. Powered by Tuscaloosa Toyota. And now, here's your award-winning host, Ryan Fowler.
Did Alabama win the game? I don't know. It felt like a loss when you walked out of Bryant-Denny Stadium. Alabama does get the job done, but it was not a good performance by the Alabama Crimson Tide. I'm sure that we're going to dive into it. We're going to take your phone calls. We'll do the good, the bad, and the ugly. The good, sponsored by DanielMooreArt.com. The bad and the ugly is sponsored by, I don't know, where you guys want to go today. I mean, where do we want to sponsor that? Is there anybody else that's willing to... I mean, we've picked on Auburn a couple of times. You guys want to go back to the Alabama defense sponsoring the bad? Now, we'll try to get to exactly why this team is performing the way that they are, and we'll do it coming up with some phone calls. We've also got some Kayla DeBoer audio that we're going to dive into. We are always powered by Tuscaloosa Toyota, TuscaloosaToyota.com, 3325 Skyler Boulevard, and online at TuscaloosaToyota.com. The great dealership right there on Skyler Boulevard. If you're looking for one of those new RAV4, 3.99 APR for $36. You'll also find the Tacoma. You'll find the Tundra. You'll find the Tacoma. $1,500 loyalty cash on the Tacoma, two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive. You also find the Tundra, two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive with a $2,000 loyalty cash. Also, buy 3 tires, get that 4th tire for only $1. Happening right now at Skyler Boulevard and online at TuscaloosaToyota.com. The great dealership right there. We're going to take phone calls early. Alabama does get the job done, but it was a sloppy performance. Let's start here with Kayla DeBoer's opening comments from the day, because he kind of went in a little bit, and then we're going to follow it up with the defensive adjustments, because there is some juicy meat and potatoes in the comment around the defensive adjustment. So we'll go to the open here from Kayla DeBoer, and then we're going to go to the defensive adjustment, because I think he kind of gave you a little something if you can read between the lines. Let's start with Kayla DeBoer's opening comments, and then we're going to dive right into the conversation around the defensive side of the football, because that seems to be the unit that is really not performing up to the standard that maybe we've expected here in Tuscaloosa.
And just rolling from South Carolina to Tennessee, guys start the week, as we always do with Sunday, and just, bringing a good mindset, putting the work into the workouts, wanting to, continue to always learn and get better from the things that happen on a Saturday. And, a lot of highlights, obviously a lot of things that we always got to continue to clean up, and it's in all phases of the game. But, moving to Tennessee, we know we're really looking forward to, exciting. Obviously, this game is a big deal to to fans, and obviously to us, and we understand that's the case for them as well. So looking forward to a really high level, heightened week with preparation and a big game on Saturday.
Yeah, we follow that up, and then we're going to go to the defensive adjustments, because this is one that I want to go back to, because we look at the defensive side of the football. We had a guest on last week that talked about it, Brooks Austin. We also had our Josh from College Football Nerds. And who knows, if this Alabama football team continues to prepare, to find themselves in this type of game, then I'm sure that we'll have to dive a little deeper into some of these things that they're talking about. But let's go here to the conversation with defensive adjustments, because that is the problem, right? It's too predictable. They're very simplified. Now, I want to kind of justify, why are they simple, right? Why are they simple? Is it simple because of the youth? I think it is. I think some of it. But that doesn't remove the rebuttal of playing as sloppy as they did. Okay, so when you look at the meltdown, but let's go back. This is 1 minute and 36 seconds. If you don't listen to anything this show has for you today, nothing. If you turn off in 3 minutes, listen to this one comment. This is the defensive adjustments in the game. When you look at Kalen DeBoer describing this, listen closely to some hints that he's sharing with you.
Yeah, I think the key in any game plan is to try to have really almost everything you have in the plan as far as your adjustments. Now, when you're on defense, I think there are some things that will pop up that you haven't seen on film, that you got to refer back to something that you've done with calls in the past, and you try to really minimize that as much, because the things you practice are the things the guys are comfortable with, especially week 5, 6, still as a new team with a new defensive scheme. And so, we don't have a lot of these banked reps from a year ago with all our guys, or even 10 or 11 games worth. It's new things that pop up, and we try to make the simplest adjustments to where our guys can still play fast. Down the road, this will all continue to bank as far as the reps we have, the experiences we have. We can recall on something that we did as an adjustment in the past, hopefully in the future, and execute quicker and better in the games ahead. But as far as the process between he and I, we're just constantly between series, talking on the phones real quick, just like I do with the offensive side, just hearing what the next move is, or for offense would be, hey, what are you thinking the next drive? What's the starter? What's your next third and medium, third and short, third and long? And then also defensively, what are some of those adjustments maybe in those situations, or how we think they're going to come out based on the flow of the situation in the game.
And Alabama just picked up a couple of commitments here. Well, actually one. Number 1 junior college edge in the nation, Cavante Henry, has committed to the University of Alabama. Went to this weekend, so I guess he saw enough. He said, hey, I can play on that football team. 6'4", 245 pounds. The top junior college edge in the country, according to this is On3. So giving him some credit there. Bama commitment. Alabama picks up the number 1 junior college edge, and can he come in and help this year? I mean, could he come in and help this year? Jackson, you're just chomping at the bit, man. I mean, we're doing the good, the bad, and the ugly. I wrote about mine on Tide 109, but I'm going to share other deeper thoughts. But I mean, you look like you just want to go after. Go, let it rip, man. I don't want you to hold back. Go.
I've got so many things from this weekend, from this game specifically.
You mean, hold on. You didn't think that South Carolina was going to play very good football?
No, I thought they were extremely underrated going into this game, especially from the quarterback position. I thought LaNorris Sellers is a lot better than people give him credit for, and I think we saw that Saturday with the way he played against our defense. My biggest thing is it a scheme issue, or is it more of a fundamental issue for this defense? Because tackling, setting the edge,
they're not good on fundamentals right now.
Right. And then putting away the game. If Jeremy Bernard, I understand we needed the score right there, but if he just takes a knee at the 2.
I almost forgive him on that, though. I mean,
I do too, heat of the moment.
Let me also say this. I think the coaching staff, if they knew, because it's not a trick play, but it's a play that they were not expecting. The one thing that you could probably do is, guys, listen, if this works, set down. But that is just so hard to do. It's almost like the pick. You don't want him to take it out, but you want him to take it out. And there's a big debate. Well, would it have been this? Would have been this? Either way, you at what point? But he's also looking at the clock, and you want to take that, but you also got a knee that you could take, and you can get the victory formation. But when you look at that particular moment, the way that it all unfolded, it would have been a perfect scenario. And it's all of us, where they always say hindsight's 20/20. But I didn't think that Alabama would be in that type of fight, right? I mean, did I expect that South Carolina would come in with 23 first downs, Alabama with 20? Time of possession was better for Alabama. The one thing that we're going to have to live with is penalties, okay? And I know, what would Saban have done? Saban told you what he did. He threw in the towel.
I mean, he even struggled with penalties his last 2 seasons.
Well, and going back, the actual 2 years ago, they were worse than where they are today when you look at penalty yards. So penalty yards has been a problem, and I don't know if that's – and it's not just Alabama. If you look at some of the good teams, They're at the bottom in penalties. So that almost goes back to my rebuttal. And this is, I'm not taking up. Alabama played a sloppy, ugly football game. And they won. I'd rather play sloppy and win than sloppy and lose.
And that's a sign of a good football team, playing sloppy and getting the win.
And I think you're going to see hopefully a different football team on the road. I think it would probably, maybe you could take them up there early, right? Get them away from Tuscaloosa. Let them fight. Let them feel that energy from someone else that hates you, and maybe that'll dial in a little bit. And maybe this is that one game that can get them back on track, because this has been 10 quarters of bad, ugly football. And, hey, listen, but I described this earlier a little bit, okay? When you look at Nick Saban was the harsh teacher. Can you remember the one teacher in school that was just hard, but you did learn a lot? Kalen DeBoer, in one way, is the substitute teacher. This is his program.
That's perfect.
It's almost like, okay, he's coming in. Now, I'm not saying players don't respect him, because they do. They love him. And listen, everything that you've heard coming out of that building is they love Kalen DeBoer. But from a standpoint of the substitute teacher walking in, that's where right now where they are at. So the good, the bad, and the ugly. The good is sponsored by Daniel Moore, DanielMooreArt.com, DanielMooreArt.com. So we're going to take your phone calls. We'll get into the conversation here. And why don't we start early? Let's go to Robert in Mobile. Robert, good afternoon. You're in the game. I hope all is well.
Hey, man.
The good, the bad, and the ugly. Good is sponsored by Daniel Moore. Who would you like for the bad and the ugly to be sponsored by?
Well, I can't pick on the Auburn cheerleaders like you do, so I'll pick on Kamala Harris and Joe Biden.
So Robert, are you saying that you want me to say the Democratic Party sponsors the bad and the ugly? Are you trying
I'm sorry. I won't get your show political, so I guess I'll go somewhere.
So
well, let's see, Kentucky and Florida. Let's go there.
All right. Well,
the Alabama run game.
Well, we can do the Tennessee cheerleaders.
Oh, there you go. That's a good one.
Oh, yeah. 2.7 yard average. 2.7 yard average.
Yeah.
You're not very balanced. Your offense is not where it needs to be. Your offense is not as in rhythm. I mean, think about where Alabama was against Georgia, but maybe that, I'm not saying it was fool's gold, because a win is a win. A win is a win. A win is a win in the current college football. And Robert, sometimes I love you, man, and I love your calls, but I hate this new college football. And I know you were a big advocate of it. I hate it, man. I hate it because it's almost it's a form of socialism, is it not?
No, it's not.
It's a socialism view with a capitalist mentality. Because it's a market, right? It's the market. What's a wide receiver go? 200,000. What's a quarterback go? I mean, so you kind of blend it in.
Capitalism there, man.
I'm sorry?
That's capitalism there, man.
That's what I'm saying. But it's a socialism view. That how we got here.
No, well, not really. Let me put it this way. You think Vanderbilt likes the new college football?
They love it.
You think Texas likes new college football?
They love it, man.
We don't like it because it doesn't work for us. Well, doesn't work as well for us. There is communism. The old system benefited a few people, and we were one of the few.
Alabama's the one percenters, baby. I mean, we're the one percenter. Like Nick Saban said, we're the haves and the have-nots. We're the haves. We're the haves. That's where we're at. So.
Yeah, the old system, that was your communism system. That benefited the few, and we were a member of the few. And now the new system, when you let the market decide, it plays itself out. Again, like I always keep saying, the problem is the transfer portal. If they can fix that fixes a lot of things, including how much these players get.
How do they?
Right.
I don't
they have to decide.
Say it one more time, Josh.
You change the portal windows instead of it being before.
But they don't have enough gonads to walk up and change it. They had that proposal on the table. They wouldn't touch it. 2 weeks ago, when they had the option of eliminating the spring portal period, they wouldn't touch it. Did not touch it. What do? They left it. They reduced it a small window. No. College football. One of these days we'll do maybe a bye week conversation. What's worse, the government or the NCAA?
That's a tough choice there. Well, the NCAA doesn't cost me a bunch of money and throw my money away, so I guess I'll be so good. So now it's still the government because they kill me, they tax me to smithereens.
Just wait. All right. So the good, the bad, and the ugly. The good is what?
Well, of course, the good is we won the game. I was actually at the game. It was a last minute. It was a last minute gift. So me and my wife and we went out there that Saturday.
Robert. You came to Tuscaloosa?
I'm sorry, man. It was so short notice. It was like that. Almost that morning. We get. Let's go. Okay, yeah, I'm game. Next time, though. Next time.
All right. The good, the bad, and the ugly. The good is sponsored by Daniel Moore. You got the win as the good. What else is a good? Any other good, or you want to move quickly to the bad?
Let's see. Of course, I already gave the good. We won the game. I guess that's always good. The bad, of course, is the defense. The defense played a little better. They actually played better, which that's not. This is them playing better, and it still looked pretty bad. But okay. They played better. The clock management was terrible, and the play calling was terrible. Especially, Nick Saban would not have thrown that ball in that situation when it's only 10 seconds left in that before half. But I'm sorry. I know it's not fair to compare Nick Saban, but some things, dude, come on now. Yeah, don't do things like that.
It's the substitute teacher. You like my substitute teacher analogy?
Yeah, that was actually really good. Thinking of analogy or analysis. Part of my job is doing trend analysis. And, that's what trends are, changes over time, and you're seeing what the changes are. That's essentially what trend analysis is. Since that first half of the Georgia game, we peaked. I'm afraid we peaked.
Uh-oh.
And we've been declining. Now, the nice thing about trends is they can start going up again, as you've seen with our stocks lately.
Robert, don't say that.
But it's painful. Yeah, I've jinxed our stocks now. Yeah. But it's painful watching them go down.
They just tank. No,
but it's painful watching them go down, and that's the hard part. Now, can we trend up? Yeah, but like you just said, it is the new college football. It's wide open. It's anybody can still pull this out. Vanderbilt can still win
because we're the 1%. Alabama is the 1%. Well, okay, we're still going to be there, and I do think it's kind of funny that the teams at the top are the ones who spend a lot of money. So maybe now this is a conspiracy, right? I could fill in for Rachel Madcow or whatever her name is because she's always about the conspiracies. Okay, so I'm gonna pretend to be Rachel here for a couple of minutes. I wonder if Kalen DeBoer is doing this to show us that we need NIL, Robert. We need more NIL. No, I'm just joking. Hear me out. I'm just joking, people. Don't believe me. They'll write that. Ryan said, no, Ryan.
I did warn you. About Texas and when they were going to come in and the money they were going to spend to get on top. I warned you guys. I warned you that was going to happen because it was just logical.
That's right.
But it's not over. Even though it's still wide open, we still got a chance if we can start trending in the right direction again.
Yeah,
we're going to see next Saturday what Texas is.
Stupid Auburn fan who texted me over the weekend or sent me a message that it was a long time part of the program. I won't say his name because I don't generally try to call people out, but. He compared Alabama's problems to Auburn problems. I said, "Are you kidding? You're not that dumb. Come on, man. We're 5-1, and you're 2-4. There is no comparison, man. Get a life. I get it, but that's probably a little bit of it. But listen, I think Kalen DeBoer. In his personality is going to fit in very, very well in the system that we're here. It's just taking him a little bit longer to implement. And you said it, we may have peaked a little bit early. The bad is what? What's the bad?
Let's see. The play calling I said was the bad. I guess I said it was the bad.
Okay,
the play call was the bad. The ugly was that I recovered that onside kick. But it was a really good onside kick, so I guess I really can't blame him for it. But it just left things in doubt. And real quick, like you said before, the guy should have kneeled down. You're right, absolutely. That is coaching. The coaches have to tell them what to do in those situations and make sure they understand it. I'm seriously doubt the coaches told him to kneel down and he didn't do it. So most likely he wasn't told to kneel down. So yeah, we got things to work on. We shouldn't have expected it. I mean, I said I wasn't going to expect a championship this season. Then I changed my mind. I talked myself into it. But the reality is, it's tough. I mean, it's tougher than it's ever been, and we shouldn't be too hard on Kalen DeBoer. Now, at Womack, that's gloves off. Yeah, I'm hard on him. But Kalen DeBoer, we give you more time.
All right, Robert.
All right, man. I'll let everybody else right.
All right. And thanks for checking in with your friend when you come in Tuscaloosa, man. Appreciate that, Robert.
All right, buddy.
Thanks. And Robert's always been trying to make it up at Tuscaloosa, and I loved a bit of meet Robert. Robert's been calling us for probably, I don't know, 9 years, something like that. So we'll continue with more phone calls. We're going to get to those. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. The Good is sponsored by DanielMooreArt.com. The Bad and the Ugly is sponsored by Alabama's defense, okay? I mean, we got to pick on these guys a little bit, even though we want to be positive, right? We want to look at this team as 5-1. We're taking the good, the bad, and the ugly. The good, the bad, and the ugly. The good is sponsored by DanielMooreArt.com. The Legends print, you can find that. Deuces Wild. It happened, right? Deuces Wild. 75-yard touchdown from Jalen Milroe to Ryan Williams. You can find that print. Also, Zabian Brown's interception is there as well. It's Deuces Wild, the preliminary drawing. Remember, when you order something, tell them that you heard about it right here on The Game. Ryan Fowler, my name's right there. You get a little discount as well. We greatly appreciate you guys for listening to our show and patronizing our sponsors. We're always powered by Tuscaloosa Toyota. The good, the bad, and the ugly. The good. And we'll take your phone calls. We have one line available, 205-342-9904, 205-342-9904. We'll take more of those. And another Kalen DeBoer audio clip. All right, we welcome you right back into the game. T-Town Tide, 100.9, 1230 WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports. Man, we're going to get to a lot of phone calls. We're going to continue those. And we go 205-342-9904. Bubba, Northport. Bubba, let it rip. Go.
Boy, the whining has started in Tuscaloosa.
We've been whining.
I know. It's getting old a little bit. I think people just don't realize this is the new college football. Look who all got beat this weekend. You know,
I do think and I tweeted this out and said, hey, if you want to see what college football is like, flip over to Sunday afternoon NFL football. That's what it is.
Yeah, I saw that.
Other than my team, the Dallas Cowboys, they're awful.
They got smoked last night.
Can't run the football. Dak Prescott, highest paid quarterback in the NFL.
Should have signed Derrick Henry.
Well, you're right. I mean, I said that during.
Yeah. But you know, one good thing, I made so many good friends this weekend, and it's all because of your show.
Okay, super.
That I've gotten close. I've got to meet Marty from Arkansas. Did you realize he came all the way down here? Didn't even have a ticket or a place to stay.
Dude, and I appreciate Marty. Marty brought me an autographed print of Coach Paul Bear Bryant. Yeah, I mean, I'm so thankful. Thank you, Marty. I don't know if you're out there listening, but thank you, Marty. Appreciate that.
I wish Robert would have come out after the game and met with us at the tailgate where we was all at. And, you know, we all went to dinner Friday night. No.
Oh, okay.
No. We behave.
I mean, I heard. Now, what's the kids call it, Jackson? Because I don't drink. What do they call it? A keg stand? Is that what it is? Now, what's a keg stand? Tell me what a keg. Because I'm not a drinker. I don't.
A keg stand is when you have your keg and your tap. The person doing the keg stand, somebody holds them up by their feet while they have their hands on the keg, so that they're upright, and then they just drink as much from the tap as possible.
Oh, that sounds like an emergency room waiting to happen. All right, so Bubba, I was going to ask if you were doing a keg stand, but okay.
No, we're not like Bama Nick at all. You know, he was kind of a hot topic all weekend anyway.
Well, Bubba, if I continue at this pace of watching Alabama play, I may have to start doing a few keg stands. We might carry it to the press box.
I know. You know, people getting down on the defense, but they don't realize if the defense don't make those 2 interceptions in the last 6 Jordan,
and I put
we
that
could
as
have 3 losses.
I put that
right
as
now.
a part of my good when you look at the turnovers. Turnovers were really good, right? Interception sealed the game. It was nice to get those. It was nice to get that. But I still think you can play a little better. I still think you could play a little more fundamentally sound.
I think the defense starts at coaching on the defensive line. And I hate to say this, and I was a big Freddie Roach fan, but that may have to be a change down the road somewhere because we're just not getting any productive play in the last several years, actually.
Yeah, I'd like to see a little bit more. I thought and I put this in another part of the good, the bad, the ugly. I thought the defensive line was going to be a strength. I thought the defensive line was going to be a strength, and it's not. It should be, but it's not.
Right, it's not. And maybe we can get there.
Hey, if you want to look at the good, this team is battle-tested, man. They know how to win a game late.
They do. You're exactly right.
I mean, I don't try to pop sunshine here.
I wasn't paying attention to the clock when Bernard made that touchdown. Was South Carolina out of timeout? Were they out of timeout when he scored that touchdown?
Yeah, they were.
So it was what? Less than 2 minutes left in the game?
Oh, it was probably it was a lot less than that. It was probably, I mean, it would have been one snap. Right. Yeah, I mean, it would have.
One snap it was over, but then again, they got the ball back.
I'm trying to think if they burned the timeout right there. They did. They burned the timeout out after coming out, right? So that was going into the.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
So that was final one.
That falls on coaching right there. Not telling them, hey, if you get open catch, just go down and ball game's over. But then again, it got extended again. And that last 2 minutes or a minute and a half of the first half, that was pathetic.
Yeah, it was some of the worst minute and 30 seconds of football I can remember.
Yeah, they go. Yeah, me too. And I've been watching them since the late 60s.
So are you jumping off? Are you jumping off?
No, I'm on board still.
Well, you sound like you're jumping off. That's why I'm asking.
No. Like we was all talking about Saturday night after the game, a win is a win. No matter how you win it, it's still a win. And we could be in a position like Ole Miss, who blew a game thanks to Pete Dolan's defense,
Anybody miss Pete?
So, no, not really. And guess what? He was running the whole time, a 4-2-5. So he was in that nickel defense most of the night. and LSU just made him pay for it, really.
LSU's
playing
a little better football than maybe what we anticipated. So
the good is, we won. Even though by the skin of the teeth, it's still a win is a win. And I guess the bad would be the way we handled that last minute and 30 seconds of the first half. And the ugly is that onside kick. My gosh, I think high school kids could have caught that one. I mean, that was ridiculous.
Okay.
But there you go.
All right. Thank you, man. Appreciate you, Bubba. Appreciate your phone call, 205-342-9904. Roy in Kansas, get ready. We're coming to you.
It wasn't the Georgia loss because I lived there. But we're 5-1. There's things we need to get right. I mean, that's moving right into the bad. The missed tackles, to me, was bad. The 2 interceptions by Jalen wasn't pretty at all. But, I mean, you're not going to be able to be perfect and throw dimes every single time you drop back. And the ugly, I mean, there's a couple different things you go with there, but I would probably agree with Bubba, who I did get to meet this weekend. I like Bubba. He's a cool guy. And I got to meet Marty. But the ugly would probably be that onside kick. I mean, I heard somebody say that they said Jihad Campbell was the first guy up on the hands team, a linebacker. I mean, I love Jihad. I love what he does on defense. But on a hands team, wouldn't you expect expect it to be your wide receivers, your tight ends, and maybe your second or third string back. Somebody that actually catches the football. I mean, I'm just saying, you want somebody that's got hands. It's a hands team for a reason. So, but we are 5-1, so I'll take it. And now we got to get this thing right, and we got to go to Knoxville. And I kind of chuckled whenever you said, hey, let's get this thing, and let's get them out of Tuscaloosa early, and let's get them up to Knoxville early, and maybe they can get this thing right in their own heads and on mind and on the field before we got to play a game. And I did finish the LSU and the Tennessee game Saturday night. And both of those was down to the wire games. And if Billy wouldn't have made some bad coaching, Florida could have beat Tennessee in Knoxville. So, and I'm not necessarily as terrified as I was about going to Knoxville. Yes, they got a good quarterback. Yes, Knoxville can get loud with their 102,000 or whatever it is they can pack in that stadium. It might be 105 since they sit them so close together. But if we could go up there early and punch them in the mouth, that would be great. And not let up. That's the thing. We have got to not let up. So, but anyways, I'm glad I got to be there again at Saban Field in Bryant-Denny Stadium, and it was a great experience. Got to make some new friends, make some great memories. And when we did do positive things, I will say this. It doesn't matter if you know anybody or not. When you go inside Bryant-Denny Stadium, this is what I love about it, being an outsider, but when I get to experience it. When your team does score, everybody who's everybody, wearing Alabama colors or Alabama apparel, you just turn and you're immediately high-fiving people, and that's great. I love that. It doesn't matter. You may not know the people, but you're united by crimson and white. And every time I get to go to Bryant-Denny and go to a game, that is a special experience for me. So, but anyways, I loved it.
Josh, I appreciate it. Anything else, man, you want to add? That's it?
No, let's just get this thing right, and let's beat these vile Vols. So they're probably they're probably next to Georgia and Auburn. They're probably third on my SEC list of teams and fan bases I do not like. So because that color orange, you got to play that clip multiple times this week. Man, that color orange is just disgusting. And you know why they wear that orange, right?
They can wear the same shirt 3 days in a row? Is that
they go on Friday? They go to the ball game on Saturday, and they go pick up trash on Sunday before they go back to lockup.
Okay.
Roll Tide.
Okay. Roll Tide. Roll Tide. Caitlin DeBoer is probably like, what in the world? This rivalry is a little crazy, rightfully so. Let's go to Roy over in Kansas. Roy, good afternoon. You're in the game. I hope all is well, man. Hey, Roy. Hey, Roy. No Roy. Roy going once, going twice. Roy's gone. Roy's like the Alabama defense. He may be there and he may not. Let's continue with more phone calls. Let's try Wayne in Destin. Wayne, good afternoon. You're in the game.
Hey, Ryan.
How are you, Wayne?
Hey, I'm doing good. How you doing?
Good. Just trying to make it.
No. Y'all, sounds like your weather is gorgeous. We're going to get some of that tomorrow.
Oh, man. It's starting to get like football weather here at the second weekend of October. And it was not bad Saturday, but it was pretty warm.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. My question to you, I've listened to the coaches today and stuff. I know you watched the game. I don't understand. On 3rd and 9, that started all this, we didn't rush the quarterback. We let him stand back there until he found an open receiver. That route run took forever to come open. And we had 3 guys rushing. That's what frustrates me. There's just no, if it's 3rd and 9, look, me and you would probably call a blitz of some sort, I think, even with a new, I understand they've only been coaching them for 5 games or 6 games, but if we don't blitz Tennessee, it's going to be 60 to something. Freshman quarterback's proven pressure on him makes him make mistakes. If he can stand back there, he's going to pick us apart. How do you feel about that?
Tennessee is, and I don't know if it's, think about where we were at 2 weeks ago. To me, the confidence has grown in this game. You watch Tennessee play against Florida. Maybe they were looking ahead to Alabama. Maybe they were, the sharks in the water, right? Smelling a little blood in the water, kind of going, hey, listen, we can beat Alabama. Maybe they're looking ahead. Maybe they're not focused on Florida. I would say that about Alabama, but I think coming off the loss against Vanderbilt, but they lost to Arkansas. Tennessee doesn't seem as powerful as maybe what we thought they were a couple of weeks ago. Is that fair? I mean, I
think Florida's defense is better than people think they are. They didn't have much of an offense, but their defense, just like Arkansas, gave that quarterback. He's not, he's tremendously accurate if he can stand in the pocket and no rush. If you move him off center, he overthrows the football, is what I've seen for 2 weeks. He's not as accurate. So, I don't know.
Yeah, but that offense maybe is, we thought, oh, man, look at this Tennessee team. Look at this Tennessee team. Think about how we've adjusted to those guys. I said this on national radio on Saturday evening, following the game about 11 o'clock, went on national Fox Sports. And I said, I think we're seeing the best football played at the early part of the season, and we're not gonna see good football at the end. I can't justify how we're going to be able to manage all these injuries. And I'm not talking about Alabama, I'm just talking about from college football. What's the playoffs going to look like? I don't think it's going to be as good as what we saw in the early part. But going back to Tennessee, you saw them, 69-3 Chattanooga. NC State, they blew them out at that point. There was a top 25 team, 51-10. Kent State, 71-0. We're like, whoa. Then they go to Norman. Josh Heupel's returned to Norman, Oklahoma. They won 25-15. And then they go on the road at Arkansas and lose 19-14. They come back home and play pretty sloppy in overtime, 23-17. So,
and the other thing I wanted to ask you, I don't know if you paid attention. My friend of mine, of course, we talked to each other between each quarter. It looked like Jalen got hurt. One of the big defensive linemen for Arkansas fell on him over by the sideline. When he got up, his shoulder pad was up a little bit, and he was cringing. And one of our players pushed it back down. He went back to the huddle, and it seemed like after that he kept playing, but he was off a throw or two, and then I'm worried about him getting beat up. I can't remember if it was this game.
You can't take the pounding that he's taken. How many times from a rushing standpoint, he's got a lead by rushing, and it's not even close when you look at the number of carries.
I know. And I don't understand
you take that away. You take that away, Wayne. What do you do? From an offensive standpoint, you don't really have a lot of other options. That part is what makes Alabama's offense click.
I agree with you, but that play we've run the same play for the entire season, which is fantastic. With the guard and tackle pull going to the left or the right, he gets in behind him. Why can't he have a running back coming across and give him the ball and him go the opposite and try to either fake it or go? But if he gives one of the running backs, but with those two pulling guard and tackle, those guys, that's what they're built for. You would think that it would work that way too. I don't know. I just worry about him getting hurt because goodness, when he hit these guys, and I watched the guy grab his leg and twist it. I think in the Vanderbilt game down on the 2-yard line, they yanked his leg and twisted it. My son jumped up out of his ready to kick somebody's butt. I said, when you're trying to hurt somebody, that's ridiculous. You got to tackle them, but you see that every year. You see guys are getting the scrum down there and try to see if they can grab them.
Yeah, he had 161 carries last year. 6 games in, he's got 77. So he's almost halfway point. We're at the halfway point of the season for the regular season, and he's he's pacing for about the same, but he also has, quite a bit more yardage as far as his average yards per attempt, his touchdowns. He's already got 11 touchdowns on the ground.
Yeah.
He's already got 11 touchdowns. He had 12 all of last year. So he's taken a beating. I know that's not ideal.
No, it's not. We're too explosive with other positions that we need to spread the wealth.
I think Kendrick Law, getting him back, is going to add another piece. I hope hopefully Kobe Prentice is able to go and you can get him more involved in this offensive attack. But you take that deep ball away, you don't have a rushing attack that you can bail out. 2.7 yard average. 2.7 yard average.
Wow. Yeah. Oh, well. All right. Well, the last thing you said good, bad, and the ugly. That drop kick for onside kick that everybody's been talking about it, but they realize that it wasn't a punt. It's a drop. It's a drop kick, and he spins it. That thing, like somebody said, is a crazy rabbit running up there. I agree with not having the right hands, people, but you see that ball, the RPMs it had on it when it went around there. I mean, it was
almost a perfect kick. Almost a perfect kick. But I mean, hey, listen, it's a weird shape.
Yeah. All right. Well, like I said, love the show.
Hey, you want to do the good? Because I heard a lot of bad. I didn't hear a lot of good.
Well, we won. That's the good. I think that we're coming along. We're putting so much pressure on all the coaches. I sort of feel for everything we've talked about the last 4 or 5 weeks. But he is. I think what you played a minute ago before we got on here when we first started the show today, when he said we're learning, we're only 5 games into this. Man, that's got a lot of us. If you even played high school ball, you realize that you're trying to learn something on the go. What a difference! I mean, we got to give them. We're frustrated, but we got to give them time to learn it. Oh, and the last, no, just that we won. I just hope they stop arm tackling and start, hitting people. They're trying to strip the ball. I think you mentioned that too. Maybe on another deal, but. All right. Well, like I said, I just want to touch base with you. I need to get up with you. You know that.
Thank you, Wayne. Appreciate it, man.
All right.
Yep, right back to you. Thank you, man. Wayne down in Destin, we appreciate the phone call. Jared in Houston, Texas, get ready. We're coming to you. The Good is sponsored by DanielMooreArt.com. We are always powered by Tuscaloosa Toyota, TuscaloosaToyota.com, 3325. Skyline Boulevard and online at TuscaloosaToyota.com. The great dealership right there on Skyline Boulevard. How about a new truck? They got plenty of new Tundras to choose from. Also got some pre-owned inventory as far as the Tacoma or the Tundra, and the 2025s have already started to arrive at Tuscaloosa Toyota, TuscaloosaToyota.com. I want to go back, man. I still continue to unpack this clip. This is Kalen DeBoer talking about the defensive side of the football. Not an excuse, but understanding why they're maybe not able to play as complex. Going back to Kalen DeBoer as far as defensive adjustments, he said this earlier today at his noon press conference every Monday.
Yeah, I think the key in any game plan is to try to have really almost everything you have in the plan as far as your adjustments. Now, when you're on defense, I think there are some things that will pop up that you haven't seen on film. That you got to refer back to something that you've done with calls in the past, and you try to really minimize that as much, because the things you practice are the things the guys are comfortable with, especially week 5, 6, still as a new team with a new defensive scheme. And so we don't have a lot of these banked reps from a year ago with all our guys, or even 10 or 11 games worth. It's new things that pop up, and we try to make the simplest adjustments to where our guys can still play fast. Down the road, this will all continue to bank as far as the reps we have, the experiences we have. We can recall on something that we did as an adjustment, in the past, hopefully in the future, and execute quicker and better in the games ahead. But as far as the process between he and I, we're just constantly, between series, talking on the phones real quick, just like I do with the offensive side, just hearing what the next move is, or for offense would be, hey, what are you thinking the next drive? What's the starter? What's your next third and medium, third and short, third and long? And then also defensively, what are some of those adjustments maybe in those situations, or how we think they're going to come out based on the flow of the situation in the game.
All right, there it is. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Kalen DeBoer talking about the defensive side of the football. Let's go to Jared in Houston, Texas. Jared, good afternoon. You're in the game. I hope all is well, man.
How you doing, Ryan?
I'm good. Just trying to adjust, man. Trying to recalibrate my eyes.
Yeah, those that swim in the deep end, as you like to say. I listened to that press conference live, and I picked up on it right away. And what he's saying makes a whole lot of sense. When you're in a new team with a new scheme, you can't go back to last year and say, all right, from the 4-3, what did they do? Because we're not running that. So, or 3-4, whatever, you've got to have your scheme and your team, and you've got to have a bank of things to look at to help build that plan with adjustments. And I thought it was very profound and It's kind of like Coach Saban said. I guess it was 2015 or 2016, Ryan. We go out to Arkansas and only win a game 14-13, and Coach Saban says everyone has this expectation of what our team is supposed to be, and they're upset that we only won the game 14-13. This game reminds me of that game. That was great. One of our strongest teams we ever had in that 15-16 era goes out to Arkansas, should have whipped them by 50, and we win by 1. Those games happen. These kind of games happen, and we have to understand that, just because what we expect them to be is not always what they're going to be. And I was really glad that Coach DeBoer put that out in the press conference today, because it makes a lot of sense, and I wasn't thinking that. And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that are Alabama fans weren't thinking that either, because I've heard a lot of negative in the last couple of weeks from Alabama fans, and it's a young team, it's a new scheme, and they've only got so much to look at. Going backwards, they got 6 games now they can look at for next week, but give this guy some time, man. To be as young as we are, we got 4 guys that played on defense last year that are playing this year that had any kind of meaningful reps. Malachi, Deontay, Jihad, and Tim Smith. Is that right? Am I missing somebody?
And you've got other guys, but I mean,
they didn't get meaningful. I'm talking about meaningful reps.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think, and I'd like to see Jamarian Latham to have a little bit bigger role. I mean, he had a pretty good role last year, and really. You saw him on that one. I think there was a tackle behind the line of scrimmage. Maybe it was either TFL or it was a sack. You're starting Deontay Lawson. Yes, he played some. Damani Jackson, no. Jihad Campbell, yes. And they even started 3 linebackers too. So you drop Jihad out to the outside, and LT Overton, Xavier Brown are all new. Jameer Latham did get the start. Keon Sabbs obviously new. Payne played some decent football. Tim Smith. We've been waiting on Tim for about 10 years to arrive.
I know, but he got meaningful reps last year.
No, he did.
Malachi,
He did,
the 2
but
linebackers.
I still think there's more in that tank. I'd like to see more from Tim Smith, because
I agree.
But this defensive line should be the veteran group.
Ryan, I agree. But the fact of the matter is, we got 7 guys on our defensive team that didn't play a snap.
That's
last
right.
year.
I mean, it's.
And so we talk about banking things to look at for adjustments. You got 0 on 7 guys. Well, you can't make adjustments based on 4. You got to be able to make adjustments based on what your unit is, what your guys are on the field, your 11 guys on the field. And when I heard that press conference this morning, I was like, "Oh man, that just it's like a light went on in my head. Like, holy cow, how did I not even think of that?" But it's true. We only got a few guys that had any meaningful reps last year. So there's just not, like he said, there's not a bank of adjustments to look at. And it was, for those deep end swimmers, that was a good press conference to listen to. If you didn't listen to it, I highly recommend you do. Because,
there was a lot of meat and potatoes, man. A lot of meat and potatoes.
Dude, there was a ton. So, my good, bad, and ugly. The win is good. The bad is the right side of our offensive line, in my opinion. We're giving up way too much on that right side. On the quarterback, and we can't afford. With Jalen taking the bulk of the carries as our quarterback, running the ball. We can't afford blindside hits on him and pressure from that right side. We've got to protect him better. So that was my bad. And then my ugly was Kirby Smart pushing the Mississippi State quarterback.
Yeah, what is all that? And I know we apologized today via his press conference. We've got the audio. We may not be able to get to it, but
Ryan, had that been one of the Alabama coaches, regardless of who it is,
it would be an absolute.
It'd be all over every newspaper. There'd be suspensions. There'd be lawsuits. There'd be Title IX. They'd be talking about it in Congress. It would be.
And you're right. Alabama's held to a different standard. I think it's probably and we'll get Kalen on after the season. I'd love to ask him the one question. because I know I'm tying this all together because we are held to a different standard. We also get everybody's best game. Everybody,
we do, for sure.
Because
every week
they're looking at Alabama going vulnerable. And you heard Shane Beamer say it. Well, we thought we could make some money.
We expected to win. Yeah, they expected to win.
Well, against Alabama's defense, he said the way they play defense, he said we should be able to attack that. I told our wide receivers that we should be able to have success. That's the part that probably a lot of people think about this Alabama job, but you get everybody's best game because they just go crazy.
Takes guts to coach this football team, especially after the 17 years it just went through. So, I think Kalen DeBoer is a great coach. He's a winner, and I expect him to win at Alabama. My expectations of him have not changed from the time he walked on campus to now. We're a young team, and we're 5-1.
Oh no,
could be 6-1.
No. I think once he gets implemented and the growing pains and the new is out of it. Yeah, I don't like the way Alabama's playing. He doesn't like. I mean, you go back to what he said last week. What did he say? I'm frustrated. Yeah, I may not have a temper tantrum over there.
It's like Nick Saban said about 8 years ago. Everybody has an expectation of what our team should be, and they're disappointed that we went to Arkansas and only won the game 14-13. Some of you may remember that rant, some may not. I remember it well because I listened to all of it. Never missed one. But everyone's got an expectation of what our team should be. Do you think that the players and the coaches don't have those same expectations? Of course they do. They're getting paid to do it. They're wearing the shirt every day. They're out there for hours and hours upon end, practicing in the hot sun, meeting in meeting rooms, visiting with players, with position groups, looking at film, looking at the playbook, working on technique, talking about, I forget my ugly 2.0, Ryan, is this roughing the passer rule they've got now where if you fingernail the guy's helmet, there's a 15-yard penalty. 3 weeks in a row, we've had roughing the passer where there was nothing rough involved in the deal at all.
Don't get me started. I was going. I'm trying
that's
to.
Ugly. That's ugly 2.0 for me.
The officiating has not been where it needs to be, but I think that's another part of it.
And it's for me, it's a rule. I'm not dogging any officials. It's a rule, and they're able to call it because it's a rule. But I think, if you're going to deflect a pass and you accidentally come down with your left pinky and graze the right side of his helmet, come on, man. That's not roughing the passer in any sense of the word at all. And 3 weeks in a row, they've had drives extended. 2 of the 3 times scored touchdowns off of them because of that penalty. 3 weeks in a row. Roughing the passer.
I'm not going to. I agree with the SEC. SEC is, you watch college football, we're a step behind when it comes to officiating.
Officiating is poor, I will say.
So,
if we're going to have to holler holding at the TV one more time,
if we're going to judge the players, we have to judge officiating.
Absolutely. If I have to start throwing flags myself for holding, golly, they call them on us, and we just can't seem to get a hold call again, for us. They are pulling jerseys, tackling guys. I mean, outright tackling guys with a bead to the quarterback and can't get a flag thrown. I'm not saying that's the reason we're playing poorly. It's not.
And I think they're just in collaboration with the TV. I think it's all about keeping these games close. Go watch Sunday afternoon. You live in an NFL town. That's what it is. That's what it is.
Yeah. And how in the heck did Kirby Smart not get a penalty thrown on him for shoving that quarterback violently like he did?
Yeah, right beside the official, too.
And, the official was staring at him, and as the officials walk out the field, he's got his eye on Kirby watching to make sure he doesn't do anything else. How does that not get a flag? Had Nick Saban done that? Oh, it'd have been all over.
I don't disagree.
They'd be talking about it in China.
Yeah. I don't disagree with you. Not good. But man, we got a lot of other problems besides officiating too, though. But
absolutely. We just got to keep playing. Got to keep playing, keep getting better, keep building that bank of adjustments that we can look at. Boy, what a great press conference that was. There's a lot of meat in that deal if you listen to it. Take the time and listen Coach DeBoer's entire press conference, you'll learn something about coaching football and what it takes to make adjustments. That was a fantastic segment you ran with that on adjustments, because I saw it from the get-go, and I even tweeted about it.
Hey, thank you, man.
So,
appreciate you, Jerry.
Roll Tide, brother.
Yeah,
yep,
right back to you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. We'll go to Paul and Lincoln coming up in a couple of minutes. T-Town Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
Hour's West Alabama real-time news update from the Tuscaloosa.
30. The Tide Tailgate Show is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors, Skyland Boulevard, Tuscaloosa, and the new location, Highway 280, Birmingham. Online at academy.com.
Alabama Credit Union with the official countdown to Alabama Crimson Tide football right here on the game, alabamacu.com. The mobile app saves a lot of time. The mobile deposits, checking, savings, mortgage, home equity loan, financing a vehicle, the great competitive rates. Alabama.
Use mobile app, personalized discounts, and more. Get a quote in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Discounts and coverage selections not available in all states or situations.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Sunny and breezy this afternoon. The high today 73. Clear and cool tonight. The low 46.
Right back into the game. T-Town Tide at 100.9, 1230 WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports. Let's go to Paul and Lincoln. Paul, good afternoon. You're in the game. I hope all is well, man.
Ryan, name the team in the SEC that's lost 7 of their last 9 games. Hurry.
That would be the Auburn Tigers.
That would be the Auburn Tigers.
The 2-4 Tigers.
The 2-4 Tigers, who are 2-7 their last 9.
And they're a double-digit favorite underdog against Missouri on the road.
But it would be so Auburn to go up to Columbia and beat Missouri.
No, please, Lord, no.
I know.
Can you believe I got a message after the game from a bug that said, your problems are very similar to Alabama's problems? I said,
Ryan,
no, our coach has integrity. Our coach doesn't participate in human trafficking. Ryan, I can't believe you say that. He has a lot of baggage.
He certainly does. He certainly does. He's got a lot of baggage in the city of Memphis, I might add, too. But
there's still a lot of stories out there around Hugh Hefner.
A lot of skeletons still in closets, Ryan. About Hugh Hefner, Hunter Freeze. And let's go ahead and embrace the suck. I know it's weeping and wailing and gnashing of teeth in Tuscaloosa, but how would you like to be a fan of the Lee County Booger Tigers? Are you kidding me? That irrelevant program to the southeast of us. Oh, my gosh.
And what does it say about the program that in the current chaotic environment that we have in the world of college football that they can't even be competitive?
Well, just hold on, their fans say. Reverend Hugh is recruiting at breakneck speed, and it's going to get better. It's going to get. The future is bright in Lee County. According to the cult, the future is bright. According to the cult of AUBURN. Ryan, this is a big week. Listen. There's been plenty of discussion about Alabama. I get it. I'm as frustrated as some of the other fans. I see what I see. But, Ryan, games like this week can right all the wrong. Would you agree?
They can. I'd like to go back to the way we played against the first half against Georgia, if it's okay.
Well, Ryan, I was kind of thinking about, like Robert said, did we actually peak the first 30 minutes of the Georgia game? I certainly hope not, but since we walked into the tunnel at halftime of the Georgia game, this has not been the same football team. lot of warts. But again, this game, this game and the Auburn game, Ryan, to me, this is one of the reasons I became intoxicated with Alabama football. This is a pride thing. This is a pride game. And if you've got any pride in your belly as an Alabama football player, an Alabama coach, it's gonna come out. It's gonna come out in Knoxville Saturday afternoon. That's just the way it is. It's in the DNA of Alabama because this is one of the games, Ryan, on the schedule every year. As an Alabama fan, as an Alabama player, and hopefully as an Alabama coach, that you circle this game. I know every game's important, Ryan, but some games just mean a little bit more, and this is one of them. There's a long, storied history with this game, and I still think it's right now. It may be too early to call it a rival again. I know they got us in 22 up there, but I remember what Brad Edwards said comparing the hammer and the nail.
Yeah.
You remember that, don't you?
Great comment. Great line.
When it comes to the hammer and the nail, there's no rivalry. And Alabama has won 16 of the last 17 matchups against Tennessee. And these are the games, Ryan, sometimes you can become a legend in a game like this. It's very important. It's important to both sides, but it means a whole, especially to the older crowd. And I'm part of that older crowd, that older fan, part of the fan base. This game means almost everything. When you're thinking about Alabama football. So hopefully somebody has gotten to Coach DeBoer and the coaching staff, and I'm sure they have, just to let them know, hey, this game means a little bit more in Tuscaloosa. It means a little bit more in Knoxville, and hopefully, when we go to Knoxville and we run through that tunnel up there, we're ready to go.
Paul, I want you to be transparent with me.
Yeah, go ahead.
I know we're seeing a new coaching staff, and I don't want you to agree just to be agreeing. How much do you think Alabama's problems is the new college football?
Well, it's what the bureaucrats wanted. This is exactly what the Tim Brandos of the world wanted. And you're starting to see it. I mean, you're seeing it. I mean, we're living it. It's just, Alabama used to be the most feared football program in college football from 2008 to, let's say 2023. I mean, I know the latter part of Coach Saban's tenure, cracks started to form in the foundation, some undisciplined play, undisciplined penalties. I mean, you could see it, and that's the reason he's on ESPN Game Day now. His methodology, the way he did it, the way that was so successful for him for 17 years, it just wasn't cutting it. And so, yeah, I think all of the rules, the new rules, the portal, NIL, all of it plays a part into what we're seeing now. And just look every Saturday who's getting beat, and look at the records. I mean, Texas is after 6 weeks, Texas is the only team in the conference that's undefeated. But their day's coming. They're not going to skate through this season undefeated. I just think it's virtually impossible to do that right now.
And the first person who I heard was down at spring meetings in Sandestin in May when Kirby Smart looked at us and said undefeated teams are a thing of the past. Not going to have it in the SEC. And I went.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, look what Georgia has. Look what Georgia has coming up. They're going to Austin Saturday night. They still got.
And by the way, that's an L. I just hope Digger didn't hear it. That's Georgia's an L. That line opened up as Georgia the favorite. I wish I would have been in Vegas because I'd have laid the mortgage that Texas.
I'm going to be honest with you, Ryan. I hope Georgia goes out there and beats the brakes off Texas. I'm not saying they will.
No, I agree, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Well, yeah, I mean, Georgia would have to play a lot better than they played Saturday against Mississippi State. Now they could have possibly been looking ahead. That's always possible. They could have been. You know, I mean, who would have thought State would go to Athens and hang 31 on Georgia in a loss? But getting back to the Tennessee game, Ryan, it means something. It means something to me, and I know, like I said, I'm an old timer. This game I can remember starting around 1971, and this game means, in a football sense, this thing means the world to me. And it begins and ends, Ryan, as an Alabama fan, what we do against Auburn and Tennessee. That's just me. That's me. And this is a big week. It's the third Saturday in October. It's almost, and I don't want to be disrespectful in no way, but it's almost like holy ground in a football sense. You know what I mean? No disrespect to the Lord Jesus Christ,
sure.
But in a football sense, this is almost like holy ground. This game, and I hope we can find some pride and go up there. And it's gonna be a battle. It's gonna be a battle. You know, the warts we see on this defense. I mean, this defense could be exposed, or like I said, they can man up and go up there and surprise us with their performance. I hope they do. And you know, it's just it's a big week, Ryan.
No doubt. Hey, Paul, appreciate you, man. I hope you have a great rest of your day, man. Thank you as always.
Okay, buddy. Roll Tide and roll MAGA.
Roll Tide. R&R Cigars, locally owned and operated. Reagan and Randy Starner. Speaking of that, Tennessee, it'd be a great place for your Victory Cigar headquarters. And you said, well, hold on, I'm not going to buy until they win. Well, you've always been able to do that, right? Your confidence, where you at? R&R Cigars, 2703 6th Street. Go by, get your cigar. 1,000 different cigars to choose from. The walk-in humidor, R&R Cigars. Also be a great place to watch Monday Night Football. Relax and recharge. R&R Cigars. R&R Cigars. We'll continue with more of the game. Barrett Sallee next. T-Town Tide. 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
Man, I hate Tennessee because, first of all, it's Tennessee. And I just hate them because they low down, they dirty, they some snitches. And I hate Phillip Fulmer. I hate their colors. I'm not a dog person. I just hate Tennessee, man. Like, and I hate Neyland Stadium. It looks like a garbage truck worker convention. And I hate all their quarterbacks. I hate Tennessee, man.
Describe what you feel about their colors, too. I thought that was interesting.
It reminds me, and it's not that orange that you can stand. See, I hate Tennessee more than I hate Auburn. I just dislike Auburn. I hate Tennessee. See, Tennessee's colors is that throw-up orange. It's not that orange that you can sit with. It's that puke inside of a pumpkin orange. And I don't like pumpkins. So I really don't like Tennessee, man. I can't stress that enough.
Is usually checked at least once or twice a year. Let your doctor know you are concerned about the health of your kidneys and ask what you can do to keep your kidneys healthy.
Don Wallace CPA, 527 Main Avenue in downtown Northport. Small business and personal income taxes, payroll, sales tax needs. They can also help you with nonprofit or church accounting or auditing. In business since 1999, they work for you, not the IRS. When you take on taxes, you got to have someone on your side. It's Don Wallace CPA.
Go to townsquarelocal.com for a free demo of the Townsquare Business Management Platform. Visit townsquarelocal.com
townsquarelocal.com. That's townsquarelocal.com.
Rumsey Environmental, a one-stop shop serving West Alabama for all of your waste removal needs. If you're in the construction business, take a little bit of stress out of your life. The construction debris removal containers customized to fit your job site, the portable toilet service, the storage containers to protect your valuables. It's Rumsey Environmental for that complete waste removal service when you have to.
It's only $19,900. For the number one selling Nissan Rogue SUV, we offer discounts up to $3,000. And yes, we have 2- and 4-wheel drives in stock. See BJ or Kylan at Townsend Nissan today.
Nuke's Eatery, they're on the fringe of the campus of the University of Alabama, close enough that you can smell the championships. The Nuke's Q sandwich, still the number one sandwich across the franchise. The French dip sandwich, I think, is going to challenge for that number one spot. The double club, the single club, you can pair those up with a great sandwich, salad, California-style pizzas, all available for catering from a group of 5 to 500, a small office party to a large corporate event. Joel Bromfield, they've done a great job for my family. They'll do a great game. Hope all is well.
All is well, Ron.
Yeah. How are you, man?
I'm going to tell you what is the ugly. I have been watching Alabama football since I was about 5 years old. All right. And this bothers me more and more, and it bothered me Saturday. After we scored the touchdown, we had to have a debate for freaking 20 minutes after the game from people online. I read other people's phones. You know, when you have friends, they'll let you look at other people's texts on their phone. And the moaning going, oh, he should have stuffed Alabama. He should have knelt. You cannot tell a young man who caught the ball, he's wide open, he's going a touchdown, oh, follow the 1 yard line. No, he's going to score a touchdown. Get over that. I know. The problem I had when after we scored that touchdown, our fans, I'm calling the Alabama fan base out. I'm pissed at the Alabama fan base, all right? They didn't bring it last Saturday when we needed it. And when we scored the last touchdown, some of them were getting up to leave to beat the traffic. You got to be freaking kidding me, people. And that just, I sit there, my brother looked at me, what's wrong? We ahead. I'm like, look at this BS. We get an 8-point lead, and with less than 2, the fans is leaving. Oh, I want to get out.
You know, I did notice there was a big group of Alabama fans that left when Alabama. And I know, Tommy, here's the problem that you and I have, okay? We welcome all these new fans. We got a lot of new Alabama fans, okay? A lot of new fans because they wanted to be a winner, right? We can't blame them. But we also have an understanding that you got to support your team through some difficult moments, right? They're accustomed to beating everybody 65-3, and that's just not realistic in this new world that we live in. There's going to be close games. It's going to be chaos. It's going to be a fight to the very finish line. But I did notice there was quite a few hitting the tunnels. And you know what else I heard, Tommy, at Bryant-Denny that I haven't heard in a long time?
What?
At halftime, I heard a few boo birds out there.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Did you hear that?
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, it was small. It was small, but I heard a few boo birds out there.
Oh, no, there was 3.
Oh, is that what it was? 3 of them?
3 rows below me. And I'm like, he got moaning and going. I'm like, he made a comment like, I pay good money to watch crap like this. Alabama should be beating the hell out of them. I'm like, well, you know what? You got to give that other team across the field some respect.
If money bought teams, Texas would have all the national championship trophies.
And Dallas Cowboys, excuse me, to you and J-Rob.
I knew you would get that jab in. Go ahead.
Well, they need to get rid of Jerry Jones. I've been saying that for 7 years now.
He's old. That's what old people do, man. They make poor decisions.
Well,
did I really just say that? I was trying to get a jab in at you, and it probably didn't sound very good.
No, it didn't work. Let me tell you that. I don't care.
I mean, you're an old guy, Tommy.
I am old guy, but I'm not older, and I'm not as dumb as Jerry Jones. The more money you make, the stupider you get, and you think you can buy everything.
Still not sure we should have paid Dak Prescott the highest paid quarterback in the National Football League.
Well, Dallas should spend their money, like Jackson said, and got the team to run the ball. Derrick Henry. And I think now Baltimore have realized after that comment, I yelled at the coach after the first 2 games at Harbaugh brother. I'm like, well, we didn't get Derrick Henry to run the ball all the time. I'm like, well, then what the heck you get him for? That was the most acidine answer I have ever, one of the top 10 dumbest answers I've ever heard from a football coach. Well, we didn't get him to run the ball. Well, what did you get him to do? Look good in uniform? Huh? No, you're going to help him take the pressure off the quarterback.
And a lot of Dallas's problems is very similar to Alabama's problems.
Yes. But, no, it just, when I was at the tailgate, people were showing me their phones, so therefore I would never have to buy a phone with friends like that. I can read everybody else's text and be called up.
You need to get you a burner phone. That's what you need.
Yeah, so I can really be nasty and anomalous. And, no, it just, I'm like, people this year, everybody is going to be able, everybody believes they can play with Alabama. You heard the naysaying all through the offseason. Well, he's gone. Well, Nick Saban wouldn't do this. Nick Saban. I'm going to say something mean now, and you're going to get 20,000 texts because I don't have an account, so they'll take it on in you. Nick Saban ain't the coach no more. All right, get over it. He's not coming back. All right, we got a good coach. I think we make the right choice. It's going to take time to get his program like he wanted. All right? So don't worry about it. If we lose another game or 2 games, it's growing pains. Alabama have played more players this year than Nick Saban probably played last year and the year before. He's given experience. He said, if you work hard, you're going to get in the game. You work any harder, you're going to be a starter. There's a place for you at Alabama. If you want to grow and get better and go to the next level. So, no, everybody, take a chill pill. I mean, I can remember when Ray Perkins came in.
Well, Nick Saban wouldn't have done it this way.
Nick Saban ain't coach.
Oh, that's right. Thank you. I was just testing you, see if you were paying attention.
Oh, I pay attention a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. My mind is like a steel trap. Once it closes on you, you ain't getting loose. I don't know what I'll do with you, but hey, it's there.
So were you doing a keg stand after the game?
No, nobody. That group of people, let me tell you something. We couldn't hold nobody up to do a keg stand, and we passed it. No. There's nobody in that group going to do a keg stand. If you do, you're going to break your freaking neck. I mean,
what are you saying? That's like the senior citizen tailgate?
Well, I'm not going to hold somebody up for 3 minutes drinking beer upside down.
Yeah, I was trying
over 200 pounds.
Yeah, Jackson was describing that, and I still don't really know if I got to.
I did. He made it more clear. I'm like, In my day, you wore a stupid hat and you had 2 cups on the side filled with beer, and you had 2 straws in your mouth. No, sorry. Those days are gone. I'm not going back to them, sorry. If you turn me upside down for 3 minutes, I'll probably pass out. Or you give me one heck of a headache, then I'll be testing you the rest of the month.
You could do a funnel instead of a keg stand or a shotgun.
Yeah,
you silly kids.
But
we went from getting in trouble, Tommy, with you and I chewing gum and sticking up under the desk, and now we're doing keg stands out here on the quad. So,
well, you know, I try to keep up with the youth and when you keep up with them.
No, you don't want to. You don't want to.
No, I do keep up with them.
No, you don't want to keep up.
That tells me to stay away from them.
Okay.
Yeah, see, if you know what they're doing.
So Tommy, after making your first call in on a cell phone, do you feel like you're gonna jump on in? I mean, you thinking about it?
I don't know. You thought I was like Marty. I was in the bathroom, you said. I hope. I mean, before we get more serious, I will say something. Marty, text Ryan or call in everybody want to know if you got back home safely. Everybody was kind of concerned about Marty turning around and going back.
Yeah, Marty did a down here and back, and he's up on the call board. He's a couple of calls away.
Well, good. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that he's on the call board. All right. Got that out of the way. What were we talking about besides beer?
No, I was the cell phone. I mean, are you gonna go in? I mean, are you gonna welcome to 2024 and go get a cell phone?
Why should I? Everybody else let me have theirs so I can read all this stuff and listen to all y'all moan and groan about things. And I don't have to put no input on it. And you can't trace me. It's wonderful to be a cheapskate and being off the dark web, living in the cave. I'm living the best days ever.
Well, Tommy, I appreciate you, man. Appreciate you jumping in for Barrett Sallee.
Well, I mean, Barrett brought I just brought confusion.
Thank you.
But, it's okay. I mean, everybody, don't give up on this team. We're not Auburn fans, okay? We're not Tennessee, and we're not Florida.
And the Boo Birds, please identify yourself. Please.
Oh, they ain't got no. No, I read some text from your callers, and I'm not going to name, but what a bunch of wussies. All right?
Uh-oh.
And you know who you are, so I don't have to say your name.
Starts with J, second letter U, second letter M, or third letter M, fourth letter B.
I'm not going there.
Last letter O. Huh. I'd be a son of a gun.
Yeah, you can spell.
He's not small. He's...
No. Well, he wasn't happy, but no, he wasn't mad at some other people.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, he's not small, but I'm not going to be made a pretzel out by him, okay? So don't get me. No, right. I'm not getting the ring.
I got to run. It'll be the highest ranking in the history of the in school history. They'll start out number 2. Alabama Crimson Tide basketball also picked to win the overall SEC. Mark Sears is picked as the SEC Player of the Year. Alabama picked number 1. And a lot of guys, when you look at that first team, Mark Sears is the only first team, but on the second team, Grant Nelson is there. And then, as I said, Mark Sears predicted as the SEC Player of the Year. Alabama starts number 2 in the AP preseason, the highest poll, the highest ranking for as far as preseason in the history of the program. So Nate Oates, but it will take us big far. And by the way, happy birthday to Nate Oates, 50 years of age. Kalen DeBoer hits that number coming up in 10 days on the 24th, and then Nick Saban hits even a bigger number on October the 31st. So October, very big happy birthday month here in Tuscaloosa. We're always powered by Tuscaloosa Toyota, TuscaloosaToyota.com, 3325 Scotland Boulevard, and online at TuscaloosaToyota.com. Martin Houston, 1992 national champion winning fullback at the University of Alabama. Martin Houston, I hope all is well. Welcome into the game in T-Town.
All is well, Ryan. Glad to be in with you, sir.
Hey, we're 5-1, right? Are we 5-1?
I'm not sure.
I need to look.
6-1, 5-1.
We're 5-1. 6 games in, halfway point, 5-1. 5-1.
5-1. Hey, Ryan, would you have taken it if someone had told you?
Ooh, that's a good question. Yes.
January, what day Nick Saban retired?
What was it, like the 13th, 12th, 11th, something like that?
Right. And all the guys left. And you didn't know who your coach was going to be.
Yeah, it was January 10th is when Nick Saban retired, and the 13th is when Kalen DeBoer was introduced to the media.
So January 12th, somebody said all these guys jumping in the portal, and then Alabama's going to be sitting halfway through the season, top 10, with 1 loss and a win over Georgia. Would you have taken it?
I would have.
So,
yeah. No, I would have.
Yeah.
I would have. I mean, it's been...
Close games or not.
Martin, how much from a psychological standpoint? I opened up the show saying that Kalen DeBoer is kind of like the substitute teacher, right? You had this hard teacher. You're thankful that he's gone. Here comes Kalen DeBoer, a little more player-friendly coach. How hard is it to adjust from this, guy that's always yelling, screaming, to Kalen DeBoer's? That's just not his personality.
Well, who you talking about, for the players or for the fans?
Player. No. The fans have had a hard time with it. I already answered that question. But from a player perspective, you now have the substitute teacher. You're testing every part of him.
There's some guys whose ceilings are higher. There's some guys whose ceilings are lower because they don't respond well. There's other guys who respond great to it. So the question is, would Ryan Williams be Ryan Williams under Nick Saban's style? We don't know that. What we know is Ryan Williams is a great football player under Kalen DeBoer. We know that Jalen Milroe is a better quarterback under Kalen DeBoer. What we don't know is, which one of these guys would have been, some of these other guys, we don't know if they're better or worse. You know what I mean? So it's hard to say. And that's what I think the battle is, Ryan. I think there's a battle, not a fight. No, don't get me wrong, not disgruntled. But I think there's a battle of culture and team chemistry going on right now. When it was winning, there was no question. There was no question of what the team chemistry was. But once adversity hit, this team is having to find itself. And it's funny to me how people forget that when Ole Miss beat us, we struggled the next week. And when Saban would lose a game, I don't remember if Saban ever came back the next week and just blew people out. It's just a transition. And, yeah, it was ugly at times Saturday, but, man, they figured out a way to get the win. I remember, if I go back into my inventory, we lived like that quite a while in quite a few games, probably about 28 in a row at one point. We would beat the good teams really handedly, and we'd struggle against Vanderbilt. But we went on to win a national championship and, in 28 games in a row.
I wonder if Kalen DeBoer is such a nice guy that he was showing Mike Shula that it is hard to win in Tuscaloosa. You know what I mean? I mean, just because he was there. He was on the sidelines. He was an offensive analyst for South Carolina. Maybe maybe Kalen is so nice, he was showing Mike Shula, hey, it kind of.
Well, let me tell you what I think happened.
Okay.
Let me tell you what I think happened. Our greatest success this year is also our greatest failure.
Explain.
I think we came out against Georgia and we were so focused. And think about this. What has been the trajectory of this team since we did the trick play, the double screen pass?
I mean, it's been
it broke us.
It did. Well,
it broke us.
Robert from Mobile asked if we peaked early. If we peaked too early.
No, I don't think that's what it is. I think, Ryan, you and I have been together so long that you and I probably had all these conversations at some point. What have I always said about confidence and at the college level? It is so fickle. When you have it, you can take an average team and do great things. When you don't have it, you can take a talented team and absolutely do horrible. Let me ask you this, Ryan.
Okay.
Is the 10-3 Alabama team more superior in talent under Nick Saban? Was that team more superior in talent that year than Alabama is this year against anybody they play?
It's a good point. Great point.
And they lost 3 games.
Well, and you describe it, you say confidence. I use the word momentum, but it's almost the same thing.
We're talking about the same thing.
Yeah.
Vanderbilt has confidence because the momentum is rolling. So they feel better. They believe more. They're cohesive. The synergy of the whole is greater. Alabama, since they broke us in that Georgia game when they said, you guys are elite, we're going to call the dogs off and we're not going to keep driving against Georgia, we got out of rhythm. When we've done, Ryan, in the South Carolina game, when we blitzed, we got to the quarterback 48% of the time. Just blitz, coach. I know it's not your style, but break your style. Break your own tendency. And ever since then, every time we have momentum going, it's almost like we do some version of a trick play or something offensively, and it's killing us. So, but yeah, you say momentum, I say confidence, but I think we're talking about the same thing, Ryan. But remember, Ryan, the other part. What's my other part that I tell you? If you give me if you say, Martin, you can have a 5-star coming out of high school or a 23-year-old, which one will I take?
Yeah,
Ryan?
always. I mean, I've heard this speech a lot. Yes, the older guy. I don't care how good the freshman is. I'll take the older guy.
What do all of these lower mid to lower teams in the SEC, what are they getting from other schools?
The older players.
The older players. And what have I told you the older player would do, with the exception of the 17-year-old? Just in case somebody call up and say, would you take a 20-something-year-old over Ryan Williams? No. But in a typical circumstance, most 5-stars at 18 and 19 aren't as good as a 3-star that's played 4 years, been in the weight room 4 years, and understands football. Think about how often, Ryan, you see when Alabama gets beat, they miss some tackles, but most of the time when they're getting beat, it's an execution standpoint in that secondary. Somebody was their eye discipline was off, or they were peeping in the backfield and the guy ran by them. Older guys don't usually make those mistakes as much, as often, as frequent. And the bigger the pressure, the more likely a young guy is going to make a mistake. We've had some older guys do it, but you understand what I'm saying. I'll take an older team a lot of times. That's what got the Barners. Go back and look at the Barners the year they won their national championship under Cam. Go back and look how old their offensive line was. Go back and look at how many juniors and seniors they had. And that's what these other teams are getting. They're getting guys with a whole lot of playing experience, playing against a bunch of superstars. That's why the superstar teams, high-ranked teams, are struggling against the blue-collar teams.
Martin, I've got an audio clip that I'm going to play for you, but I want to ask you your biggest concern before I play the clip. Jackson, get the Kalen DeBoer on the defense, because I've played it already twice, but I want Martin to hear, because I'm sure I know you a busy daytime schedule, and you may or may not have heard this, but I just want to ask you, without boxing you in, go anywhere you need to go. What's your number one concern around this football team?
I think is situational coaching. I've been a little bit disappointed in how we've handled situational, from the onside kick, the special teams that we had out there. We had 2 defensive linemen, 2 tight ends. I'm looking for Ryan Williams. I'm looking for Jeremy Bernard. I'm looking for those types. The way we've handled the end of the half with the clock, calling the timeout with only a few seconds left, and then throwing an underneath pass versus just throwing it up. The way we handled the 2-minute Ryan against Vanderbilt down the stretch instead of calling the timeout before the 2-minute timeout. You always see the NFL guys do that. And then just, the situational, when I say football, Kevin DeBoer talked about the 5, what our percentage was on third down versus the whole thing. And I'm like, yeah, but what happened on the drive that they got to 5? What happened on the other 2? They went on to score. The other times they got still, but the times we were giving them up, just situational. Blitz when you need to blitz and blitz more than you normally would. That type of thing is my biggest concern. I think the very same team that played against Georgia in the first half, Ryan, is there, and the team that played against Vanderbilt is there. Can this coaching staff get them in the key moments to play right? I mean, think about how many times we've extended a drive, got a penalty. It's almost like it comes in bunches when something goes wrong. And so to me, that's not just players, that's coaches and their cohesion and getting the guys to believe in what they're doing.
Right now, we're talking to Martin Houston. He leads us out of the gate every morning starting at 6 a.m. here on Tide 100.9. He's a 1992 national champion winning fullback at the University of Alabama. Martin, I want to play this about the defensive side of the football. This is Kalen DeBoer earlier today at his noon press conference was talking about the defensive side of the football and maybe some adjustments in game. This is how the head football coach at the University of Alabama responded to that question. I think there's a lot of meat and potatoes that you and I can unpack here.
Yeah, I think the key in any game plan is to try to have really almost everything you have in the plan as far as your adjustments. Now, when you're on defense, I think there are some things that will pop up that you haven't seen on film, that you got to refer back to something that you've done with calls in the past, and you try to really minimize that as much, because the things you practice are the things the guys are comfortable with, especially week 5, 6, still as a new team with a new defensive scheme. And so, we don't have a lot of these banked reps from a year ago with all our guys, or even 10 or 11 games worth. It's new things that pop up, and we try to make the simplest adjustments to where our guys can still play fast. Down the road, this will all continue to bank as far as the reps we have, the experiences we have. We can recall on something that we did as an adjustment, in the past, hopefully in the future, and execute quicker and better in the games ahead. But as far as the process between he and I, we're just constantly, between series, talking on the phones real quick, just like I do with the offensive side, just hearing what the next move is, or for offense would be what are you thinking the next drive? What's the starter? What's your next third and medium, third and short, third and long? And then also defensively, what are some of those adjustments maybe in those situations, or how we think they're going to come out based on the flow of the situation in the game.
All right, take that, Martin.
Well, Ryan, first of all, he said all the right stuff. I agree that this staff hasn't been here but 6 months. 9 months, or whatever length of time it's been. And this is their first go at it. You know the record of the last 3 national championship winning coaches at Alabama in their first year?
Don't offhand. I could
5-4-1, and Bear, and 4 years later they won a title. Gene Stallings 7-5. 3 years later they won a title, and Nick Saban 7-6, and 3 years later he won a title. So all the people, and I hate to call them, all of the none-understanding, none-knowing, I almost said something ugly, fans out there, I get it. You're frustrated, and Alabama's not playing to the standard, but they're also playing a brand-new offense, a brand-new scheme, and all of that. And maybe we think just because you have talent, you have the dogs you need to play the defense, and maybe Nick Saban didn't leave the cover as full as we thought for the 4-2-5. Maybe not. But here's the other part of what he's saying to me, Ryan, that is concerning, is can they make adjustments? Because it doesn't seem to me that we make adjustments. And so it appears to me that Womack is really good. You remember, and it's going to take you back a little bit, remember Alabama offense when Shula was here? If we got you in the first half pretty good, we were going to beat you. But we weren't. You were going to shut us down in the second half. With Womack, it seems to be the opposite. We play pretty decent in the first half defensively, but we get progressively worse as the game goes on. So to me, that is about adjustments, and it is about maybe he, as Coach DeBoer was saying, they don't have as much in the inventory to call on to adjust to. But here's what I tell you, Ryan. Did Nick Saban like the way Lane Kiffin played offensive football?
I mean, probably at times, but probably not.
No. I mean, as a philosophy, not the result. As a philosophy, did he like it?
Well, I mean,
no. He didn't want to.
But he wanted to change. I mean, he wanted. He selected. He wanted to go this way.
No. Answer my question. Do you think Nick Saban likes playing the offensive style of football?
Where is his defense out? Probably not.
No, I don't think he does, Ryan. I don't think he did. I don't think he's like any of the guys, with maybe the exception of Sarkisian.
Maybe Sarkisian offense, maybe. But what was he willing to do? He was willing to do what he didn't necessarily like to do because that's what it took to win. Here's my concern, Ryan. Womack doesn't like to blitz. He likes to play with 4.
But heck, wasn't that what we were sold, though? That he loved to blitz? No,
he loves to pressure. And there's a difference. He loves to pressure, Ryan. He didn't blitz a lot at South Florida. He loves to pressure. And you can bring pressure by alternating guys who come, dropping guys out, sending. But he sends 4 the majority of the time, whether it's two linemen and a linebacker and a safety, or 2 safeties and a linebacker and 1 line. I mean, but as far as just all out what you consider blitzing, he doesn't do it a lot. Going into the game, Ryan, we did 12% of the time, I think it was. Now we're against we did it 26% of the time against South Carolina. But the difference, Ryan, is when we blitzed 48% of the time, we pressured the quarterback. That means half of the time, every other time, this guy was having to throw it away, throw it up. That's why we got interceptions. That's why we got turnovers. That's why we got off the field. When we did not blitz, they got first downs. They got third downs. They got fourth downs. And we didn't blitz against Vanderbilt, and they got what? Ryan, go back and look at the first half against Georgia. I don't care what you don't like to do, Coach Womack. I appreciate you. But sometimes you're at a new level in the church, Ryan. You know what we say?
What is that?
New levels, new devils. Coach Womack, new level, new devil. It's called SEC football, SEC offensive linemen, and you better blitz these guys or they're going to sit back there and eat Alabama up. If we blitz Nico Saturday night, Ryan, he will throw it to us. He will throw it up. He will get rid of it. We will beat Tennessee. If we don't blitz, and to me that's the matchup, Ryan, which team is really real? Is it the Alabama defense or the Tennessee offense? So,
all right. Martin Houston kind of explaining there. Let me ask you another question just real quick, because Nick Sheridan was asked about the offensive line. He thought the pass protection, he said he thought they had one of their better games. Now, this is in his press conference today. Yes. I mean, Jackson's looking at me like, yes, he said that. He said that he thought they had a better game. He thought some of the breakdown was schematic-wise. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. When we block correctly, the first 3 sacks by South Carolina, their best player or their second best player was unblocked. And I'm waiting on the announcers. They said it a little bit. I'm like, guys, stop talking about how good this guy is. He is good. But if you don't block him, he is going – Ryan, the first time they blitzed and now he said scheme-wise. So does that mean that either the scheme was too difficult or did they not execute the scheme? Undoubtedly, the scheme the second sack by number 5, Ryan, the entire offensive line slid left. And guess where number 5 was lined at? He was lined up on the outside, right side of our offensive line. We all slid left, and he was unblocked. The next time, his first sack, Caden Proctor thought they made him think they were going to blitz, so he called a check down, and he stepped down, and the outside linebacker went around the corner free. So yeah, if he's saying it was schematic, I thought it was busted protection, but that may have been the way they were calling it, and they just did a great job of disguising, because you can disguise a defensive pass rush just like you can disguise coverage. And undoubtedly they confused Alabama. If he's saying that was one of their best blocking games, they did have guys running free.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to disagree, just trying to dissect what he said. Now, I will say this. I was looking at Coach Cap down on the sidelines. He went and got him some Elijah Pritchett. On that safety play. Ooh. I'm watching the binoculars. I can't say what he said, but yeah. I mean, he met him. I can hold confessional. you can see 57. He didn't want to go to my sidelines, and I'm not sure. I can't blame him. And then,
that's great.
Yeah.
Hey, Ryan, guess where I'm at, man?
I don't know. You at the football building breaking down tape?
I'm in Vol country.
What are you up there scouting? You up there scouting?
No, I'm up here representing Alabama. I have all Alabama gear on. Just going out messing with them. So
okay.
But the irony is, I've had about 3 roll tides up here.
You making TikTok videos? What you doing?
I'm up here trying to find an old garbage truck. I hate Tennessee guy. I heard he was up here in the mountains. So.
Okay. All right. Hey, Mark, before I let you get out of here, man, tell me about everything that you got going on, man. You got a lot of things.
Absolutely. I appreciate that, Ryan. Hey, for listening, if you're out there and you're into leadership, or you need to be into leadership if you're out there trying to grow yourself, your business, or your organization, my organization, Empowerment Strategies and Solutions, is bringing Live to Lead to Tuscaloosa. It's going to feature 5 awesome professional speakers and myself, John Maxwell, #1 leadership guru in the world, the Nick Saban of leadership, John Gordon, the energy bus guy, one of the top 3 speakers last year, and Malcolm Gladwell, who wrote Tipping Point. Those 3 guys, plus the comedic thought leader Michael Jr., and Shante Lowe, who is a 4-time Olympian. They're going to be a part of the simulcast. It's going to be at Bryant Conference Center, 12/3, December 3rd. And it is a great opportunity. I wanted to bring this to Tuscaloosa to kick off my new business, the Empowerment Strategy and Solutions organization. We speak, we coach, and we train. And I'd love for people to go out and check it out. They can go to my website, martinhouston.org. /live, the number 2 lead. That's martinhouston.org, live, number 2 lead, and find out about the event in more detail. And the tables, Ryan, is really a great price. You can get a table of 8 for $400, or individual tickets are $70. So love them to come out and support and be encouraged and empowered through leadership. So thanks for letting me share that. And, hey, if anybody's out there looking for a house, in the meantime, I'll sell my house or list their house.
There we go. Martin Houston, I appreciate you, man. Have a great rest of your day, man. I always thank you for the time.
Appreciate you, man. And roll tide. Let's go take care of the Vols.
All right. I like your confidence. Martin. Thanks, man. We'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you later. Bye.
Absolutely. That's Martin Houston, 1992 national champion. In Arkansas, get ready. We're coming to you coming up here in just a couple of seconds. But I want to go back to Kalen DeBoer, because he made a couple of different comments about the defensive side of the football. That has been the majority of the bad and the ugly, right? The good, the bad, and the ugly. The good is sponsored by Daniel Moore, and the bad and the ugly is sponsored by the Tennessee Cheerleaders. We thank them for their sponsorship. Kalen DeBoer talking more about the defensive side of the football earlier today in the press conference.
Yeah, I think there's every week something a little different that presents itself. I know the last couple of weeks, the big thing that's been focused on has been getting off the field. And so, you look at yards per play, and we're making some teams earn it, but we just got to get off the field. And when those drives continue to stack on top of each other and there's more plays that your defense is having to play, it starts to wear you down and a little bit more. I think our guys, fortunately, we rotate enough in to where we can hang in there for 4 quarters. But there's always going to be little elements, and it's not just defense, but it's offense and areas that are going to pop up, and the way people attack and the way someone may view your schemes or your personnel. And so, you continue to work on those things that we know we got to get better at and emphasize, but we also got to be ready for those other things too that just are part of the game, and making sure we got the answers, whether it's schematics or just that our guys are confident going out there and playing. This is part of the process. This is part of the progress that's got to be there when you're instituting new systems. I was thinking, I saw this, it must have been South Florida week, and I was sitting there watching last year's game, and I've had this happen everywhere I've been, but you look at a play call, all right, and I happened to watch the South Florida game of us versus them last year, and the play calls from last year are on that play, and those play calls have the same names, right? It's just called something different. But there might be play calls that are called something a year ago that are something completely opposite or different in your system. And that's just something that's just part of the progress is guys processing. You're throwing something new at our guys to add to our schemes, to add to our concepts and the depth of what we do each and every week. And then they also have to do what we're doing and execute well against whatever we're seeing in front of us. And you try to find that fine balance on running what is your identity, what is your DNA of the systems you run, but also continue to build on those maybe families of what you do well, or continue to just grow, your entire offense, defense, special teams. So this is just part of it. Been through it many times. A lot of the ups and downs that you have, or maybe just execution didn't go as well as you want. Sometimes that's not the base stuff you do, but it's just the things that you have to continue to incorporate to continue to get to where you want to be, because it's got to be a volume of things over the course of a 12, 13, 14, or whatever the season is and the length of it.
So Kalen DeBoer's got playoff plans. I agree with him. I think this is a playoff football team. I think they can, and I think this would be the topic that we'll dive into. Let's continue with more phone calls, and we go to Marty in Arkansas. Marty, good afternoon. You're in the game. I hope all is well, man.
All is well, Ryan. All is well. I hope you hung your picture up. No, I'm messing with you. But Ryan, we're 5-1. What's the standard? It's not going to be Saban's standard. That's what Saban did. Saban that. He's gone. He might be on the Today Show or whatever they call that and talking. He's gone. This is a new Alabama era, just like Bear. But this coach ain't as bad as some of the ones we did hire, like Ray Perkins and all them guys. Let's give them time. It's a whole new system, a whole new coaching staff, and they've got to get used to it, But I'm glad we're not Billy Napier. If I was that football team, I wouldn't show up for practice today.
Not good. Yeah.
Well, those players played 100%, and he lost the football game. He lost that football game. And I'm serious. If I was a player, I would have went in there, hey, you lost it. Here's my jersey. You don't even got our back. At least DeBoer's got the team's back. We might be playing bad, but we won the game. What column did this go in? The left or the right?
It was a W.
And that's all you play for, not by 50, by 100. All you want to do is have more points on that board, walk off the field with a win, and that's it. We're 5-1. We're going to Tennessee in a game that can knock you out of the SEC championship thing. But I don't know, Ryan. There are going to be a lot of one-loss teams that I don't know if Texas will lose a game, and I don't know about A&M till the end of the year. If you look at their schedule, Georgia is not going to beat Texas. Georgia's going.
Vegas agrees with you because they've adjusted the line. Georgia was the favorite And I was sitting there going, no way. No way.
No, not after the way they played against Mississippi State. If Mississippi State would have just made a few more plays or got one more stop, they would have walked out of there with a win. But I mean, that's if or buts and all that. But let's see how these other teams finished that we played and how good they were. All right, but Tennessee isn't the almighty thing, but it's the most important game to me because you write books about it, and that's what got Johnny Majors fired. He couldn't beat Alabama. When he was sick, Phil Fulmer beat Alabama, and they put him in as coach and kicked him out. That's Saban. In 1965, Bear Bryant kicked down the door because they wouldn't let him in the locker room. Kenny Stabler threw one out of bounds because he thought it was third down. There's a lot to write about this game and light a cigar about it. There ain't no more teams you make $20 cigars for and go up there. And if we can just play our game, cut down on our mistakes, we'll win the game. It's the mistakes that are killing us. It's the mistake. We just make the mistake at the wrong time. At the wrong time, we get a 20-yard run and we got a holding penalty. We get a 5-yard, and just like I said, what the dude just tapped him on the head. That wasn't. He didn't ref the quarterback, but it is what it is. That they want to call it against Alabama.
Well, but going back to the penalty side of things, everybody says, well, how would a Saban have done it? Well, I mean, I got the stats right here. Last year, we were not as penalized as we were in 2022. But if I told you that Alabama, under Coach Nick Saban, was worse penalized team than Kalen DeBoer, would you believe me?
We made a lot of penalties the last 2 years, right?
No, I mean, we are currently, right now, I think we're 119 in a country. We average about 72 yards per game in penalty yards. That's a lot. But in 2022, now, like I said, 2023, we were slightly improved. When you look at penalty yards, we were in the 70s. And in 2022, we were actually 123 in the country in penalty yards per game.
A lot of our penalties, you know what? A lot of our penalties are pass interference, 15 yards.
And that's a young defense making some mistakes.
If we had a bunch of, how many players do we got that we had to get off the scout team to play? There's where you don't have
all right, Marty. You just brought up a really, really good comment. I had lunch today with Chuck Norwoods, a friend of mine. Was up in Tuscaloosa, and appreciate Chuck for buying me lunch at Southern Ale House, 1530 McFarland Boulevard. But I talked about the scouting team, okay? Because if you're having to bring this many guys up to play, okay, your first and second string generally is on the scout team. So you're really having to throw on that third team. It's your scout team. It's trying to give your quality look to the offense or the defense. You don't have the dudes over there, man.
Nope. They're on the team. They're out there playing in the secondary right now. As freshmen, instead of being on a scout team, because you just don't. And that's, I guess that's everybody. I mean, I don't know. I don't. But I tell you what, if we just play like Arkansas did, we'll beat them. But that 14-13 game. If that ball don't roll through the end zone, Arkansas wins that game. So, I mean, there's games he played close that the ball didn't fall right. And like the one time up there, too, when they didn't complete the pass from Mallet to the tight end, they would have won the football game. So Saban lost football games, too, that he was supposed to win or play close. But I'd rather play them close and ugly and go in the win column, because we're 5-1 and we're 7th in the country and we're complaining. How many other teams wish they were 5-1 and just like LSU, the first game they wanted to fire Chip Kelly, throw him down the Mississippi River to New Orleans. He's 5-0 now. He's 5-0 since. and they think they got everything. T-Bob, man, he's talking smack so bad, it's unreal. But I can't wait till Arkansas beats them and knocks them out of the playoffs. But, I mean, that's what, every game right now, for everyone that's got one loss, it's a knockout of the SEC championship. And I'll tell you what, I don't think 3 losses are going to get you in the playoffs.
Well, I don't think it's a guarantee, but
well, there's still a lot of football to play, but there's a lot of teams with 1 losses that they got to lose another one. So, I mean, I don't know. It's still a lot of football to be played. A lot of football to be played.
You're right. But I mean, you look at Texas. Don't think that they're going to lose this week.
I don't think they lose a game. I don't think they lose a game until A&M might get them. And A&M schedule the rest of the way pretty easy.
Yeah, you look at Texas not going to lose. I mean, because they're going to beat Georgia this weekend. They're going to beat Vanderbilt on the road. They'll beat Florida at home. They'll beat Arkansas on the road. They'll beat Kentucky. Who knows? I mean, Texas A&M on the road, that might be a little bit of a challenge. But, I mean, Texas A&M is clicking too. What a job Mike Elko's been able to do at 5-1, 3-0 in the conference play. You start, maybe.
But there's still a lot of football. Hey, that's what we did with Alabama.
Well, and I guess if there is one thing.
You start counting them out as victors, and they go in there with their heads half cocked.
Yeah,
Vanderbilt might get them. You never. That's why.
I gotta run, Marty.
That's why you play the game on the field and not in Las Vegas.
Amen.
All right, Ryan.
Amen.
I'll call you tomorrow.
Hey, thank you, Marty. We'll do our Southern Ale House score prediction day tomorrow, presented by Southern Ale House. Southern Ale House dockside is closed today, but that 1530 McFarland Boulevard location is open and available for lunch and dinner options Monday through Saturday. Lunch and dinner options Monday through Saturday. Southern Ale House, 1530 McFarland Boulevard. One with some great chicken fingers today. Just traditional chicken fingers. They take and they brine their chicken fingers for 24 hours. They drop them. You can do them grilled or fried. I did them tossed in North River sauce, little buffalo sauce, and little Alabama Crimson Tide football. And we are taking your phone calls. We may make a special phone call a little bit later this show. I want to leave a voicemail if it's okay. I don't normally do this on this show, but Jackson, I'm going to call somebody special on the air in about 40 minutes. I want to leave a voicemail.
Who are you calling? Can you drop a hint?
Oh yeah, I just want to do a little something. Just have a little fun.
Are you calling the Kamala hotline that you like to call during breaks?
No, I'm not gonna call Kamala. Kamala's in a panic, man. She's having a.
You'd rather speak to Tampon Tim?
I'd like to teach him how to load a gun.
Yeah, I thought he was a gun owner. I thought he was a proud hunter.
He's just probably a single shot guy. That's it. But anyway, don't get me started on that. Tuscaloosa Toyota. Jackson, you trying to drag me in the weeds? Here we are. Here we are. We're 3 weeks away. I'm gonna get ready to put it behind us. Little momentum. Keep your foot on the gas, like we should have done against Georgia. Tying it back to football. Tuscaloosa Toyota, the buying power is yours. It is Tuscaloosa Toyota, TuscaloosaToyota.com. We're doing a good, the bad, and the ugly. The good is sponsored by DanielMooreArt.com. The legacy continues. Prince, you've got Deuces Wild. Yeah, absolutely. Xavier Brown, 2-2. Georgia, ranked number 2. Number 2, 75-yard touchdown pass from Jalen Miller to Ryan Williams. Xavier Brown sealing that with an interception. You can find all of that available in the print, DanielMooreArt.com. The preliminary drawing. And remember, regardless of what you do, if you check out, tell them that you heard about it right here on The Game. The Game, Ryan Fowler, DanielMooreArt.com. The Bad and the Ugly is sponsored by those Tennessee cheerleaders, man. That's our sponsor. They're the ones who contacted about 15 minutes into the show, said they would send us a nice sponsorship check. So we appreciate you guys. Old Rocky Top, you'll never mean.
Why don't we just make the Ugly sponsored by all Tennessee fans?
They are ugly. They qualify. They would qualify. Robert and Brookwood, you're first up in the 5 o'clock hour. Good afternoon, sir. You're in the game.
What's your favorite memory of Alabama-Tennessee game?
Just running them out of the. Is there one game that sticks out?
1990 would be my favorite.
It's hanging on.
We won 9-6.
Yeah.
Because nobody expected us to win, and of course that was a one of the greatest defenses. People talk about 2011 Alabama and LSU. I think that was a high-powered Tennessee offense, and that defensive performance by Gene Stallings' crew was, people can talk about Coach Stallings, which not many really, I don't know nobody really does, having boring offense, but that man could coach some defense.
Yep.
He always had a good staff that could coach some defense, man.
Yeah, and I talked to Coach Stallings last week just for a few minutes off the air, just checking in with him and see how everything's doing. He said he was feeling great.
One of the last of the Junction boys.
Man, what a legend. What a legend.
What was that book, 2 Weeks of Hell with Brad Bryant? Out there in the middle of nowhere practicing. He made a team. Couldn't get away with that today, that's for sure.
Went down in 2 buses and came back with 1. I've heard Coach Stallings say that a million times on this show.
And then the year wasn't that great, but the following year they won the Southwest Conference Championship. Did you know in 1980 they had a get-together out there in Texas for the Junction boys, and Coach Bryant came, and the only championship ring of all his championships, a lot of people probably know this, was that Southwest Conference Championship with Texas A&M. He always held that team dear to his heart.
Huh, I did not.
Yeah, he wore that ring. He always wore that ring.
What year would that have been?
1957, I think.
Okay. Would that have been John David Kroll's Heisman winning year?
It was 57 or 58, I think so, because he came to Alabama, 60, I think.
58. 1958, Dreamland arrived, and so did Coach Paul Bear Bryant.
Yeah.
Robert, we got the good, the bad, and the ugly. You got any good?
Well, Alabama won. Coach Stallings used to always say, try losing one of them games.
Yeah. Ooh, and hey, just for a couple of minutes, man, I thought,
Well, we kind of bumbled around with onside kick, but I mean, I saw a few things. I was kind of happy. I mean, I think we sacked them about 5 times, and still got some turnovers. The defensive line didn't do too bad. I still don't know what the linebackers are. Secondary, we want to blame them, but if the guys got all day to stand back there, somebody's going to get open. And there was one catch the guy made in the end zone was for. It was just a, miracle catch, toe in and all that. But still, you won the game. That was the good. The bad and the ugly still our defense. I mean, I think it's hit rock bottom. Can't do nothing but get better. So all we need Saturday is a few stops, and I think we can get them. Jumbo on a group text, picked Alabama 35-34, and I kind of like that score. So we'll see.
Okay.
Well, but Tennessee is scary in the sense that they hadn't broke open yet, and you just. Papa might be licking his lips watching this South Carolina game.
And our secondary needs to play better. But we also got to get after the quarterback. And I thought Martin said it a couple of minutes ago. You got.
Yeah, he did. I heard it.
You got to put some pressure on him. I love stats, as people know that's ever listened to the show. I want to go see where we're at in sack numbers because I feel like that's an area that we could improve a little bit. We're 36 in the country. That's not too bad. Where are we in the SEC? That's probably a little bit better barometer than just comparing us to everybody. Alabama's 7th in the country, middle of the pack. Mississippi, Ole Miss, Pete Golding, 24 sacks. Alabama's got 14. The bottom's Mississippi State with only 5. Georgia only Georgia's second to last in the SEC in sack production. Woo.
Well, all that talent that they've stockpiled, and you got to think maybe coming into this season, Alabama and Georgia was overrated. There's something going on at Georgia. That's just unlike Kirby.
It's a culture problem.
31 points given up against the worst offense in the SEC. Mississippi State, man, that just.
But Robert, I want to go back to something. I'm glad you called in today. 2 years ago on this show, you made a statement. You remember this statement?
Yeah, they're going to get harder and harder to win.
That's what you said. And initially, I kind of giggled at you a little bit. I was like, come on, man. We're Alabama, man. We're Alabama. Robert, I'm eating my words, man. This is the new college football. And you
Well, I remember saying in 2019 after that, I said, if Nick Saban doesn't get one in 2020, I don't know when we're going to get another one. He got one. And now, you just kind of see what college football's heading. I mean,
he had a great football team in 2020, but we beat people because we managed COVID a lot better. We had a great football team, but our management issues is where we won.
Yeah, I didn't think we had a close game that year, did we? I think the closest game was 62-48 at Ole Miss. So, but we had Pete Golden in too. So,
anybody miss Pete?
That's Steve Sarkisian as offensive coordinator. Boy, he learned a lot. I got to give him credit.
He did. He took a lot.
And he has. I give him credit. He has really credited Nick Saban, and even mentioned the name of Tuscaloosa, helping him out a lot. So, can't say much about Sark. He seems to be a classy guy.
Well, I mean, he's obviously he's got a lot of issues that he's had, and seems to be on the right path. And I'm pulling for him. Want him to continue.
Yeah, good point. That's right. That's right.
I mean, it's not about your how it ends or how it at what point. But I mean, he's had a lot of issues. But and that Texas job, that's a pressure cooker.
He's rolling right now. If he ever gets consecutive losses again, that's where you're going to see, Hurley how it's going.
But I mean, I hope Digger will turn off the radio because here we are complimenting Texas. But I mean, name a loss: Georgia at Vanderbilt, Florida at home, Arkansas on the road, Kentucky at home, at Texas A&M.
Arkansas could be tricky for them, but I think their loss is the last game of the year because that A&M crowd's really going to be fired up. That is, people don't around here, but
let's see if
they love that rivalry.
Let's see if Texas A&M can. Let's see if we can get them because they lost that one game in Notre Dame, the first game of the season. You got Mississippi State this weekend in Stark Vegas. Then they've got LSU at home.
Win for A&M.
Yeah, and then at South Carolina.
Tricky. But I think they'll win.
New Mexico State, Auburn only lose to those guys. That's their team. New Mexico State, then they go to Auburn and they got Texas. You know what? Texas A&M could be the shocker, man.
But the thing about it is, if Texas is undefeated going to that game and A&M beats them, they turn around the next week, they'll have the two best records and play again, and Texas probably beats them in the championship game. See what I'm saying?
And I'm not sure for our depth, for our team, the pathway to get to the playoffs, maybe the preferred method is not to go through Atlanta.
We've been talking about that, me and Jump, over the last week or so. Might be better to just get some rest. It's benefited us before, hasn't it? Twice, in fact, not making the SEC championship game and making or was it once? I know Auburn beat us and then we made it beat Georgia later on in the championship game. But,
we've got that balance back out. So,
real quick, Ryan, get to other callers, but Carolina may not be the greatest team, but their defensive line's fairly good. I don't know what they rank in the SEC, but they probably got a better defensive line than Georgia.
According to Caden Proctor after the game, he said it was the best defensive line they faced. Not even close.
Man, I didn't know he said that.
He said it. He said it to us.
Yeah, so they got a lot of pressure.
That was not like, I'm going out with Caden Proctor and going to have a sweet tea just in a press conference. I mean, I made that sound like it was. Yeah, it was in a media availability. He said that it was the best defensive line that we've played.
Well, he may be right up to this game. That our old line, we haven't had no complaints about them. They've been doing pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, need to improve, man, because it's not about where you're at now. It's golly, Bob. All right, Robert, I appreciate you, man. Roll Tide.
All right, brother. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Roll Tide. Let's continue. Let's go 205-342-9904. Hey, Pat, good afternoon, sir. You're in the game.
Ryan, how you doing? What was that guy? You had to go through and give him all kind of history lessons about Coach Saban, and then even after you explained to him about all the pass interference calls, because we were being trained to play the ball and not the quarterback, that he still didn't understand what you were trying to tell him. And I just can't get that. But, hey, he said there was no way that Georgia could beat Texas. I'm not so sure. As what does Lee Corso say? Not so fast. But I don't know. I wouldn't gamble on it either way. The bookies have got it pretty close, and they're playing in Austin.
Well, but You've seen the Sharks. The amateur bets drive it at the end of the week. The amateur, handicappers or the guys just do it for a little bit of leisure activity. But the Sharks have already driven this lineup. It opened up as Georgia the favorite. I went, that's a weird one. And no longer. Now Texas is the favorite, and that line's creeping up a little bit.
What is the line now? 1.5, 2 points?
No, it's 3.5. So it went from Georgia. No. Hold on.
Yeah.
That's a 4.5 move. It was a 1.5 for Georgia, and now it's 3.5 for Texas. It's a 4-point move.
4.5 point lead. So all the money must have been going on Georgia.
Yeah, well, imported money.
But the thing about it is, they got to look at that. That's not gonna. That's not going to be what's going to drive it. It's going to drive it that that fellow over there in Georgia's being paid to win too. Kirby's being paid to win.
Yeah.
And them people at Georgia now, they expecting to win. And the thing about it is, they've got way more to lose than Texas does. Texas could lose one, and they're still tied with everybody else. Georgia loses one, they on the hot seat going out. Because wouldn't Alabama, if Alabama stays where they're at, if we keep on winning, being we beat Georgia, we would have a tiebreaker going to Atlanta.
We would.
But I like what that guy said, though, about
I want a rematch with Vanderbilt.
Well, you ain't so sure that Vanderbilt doesn't beat. They play in Vandy. They play Texas in Vandy. Crazier things. I didn't think there was no way.
And we already know
no way Vanderbilt could beat Alabama. No way. They did.
Listen, I'm not going
right.
I'm not going to count it before it happens, but Vanderbilt's sitting here 4-2, 5-2 in the SEC. Excuse me, 5th in the SEC, 4-2 overall. But Vanderbilt 2-1 in conference play. But let's go through that schedule. They got Ball State this weekend, so they could probably rest a lot of their dudes and put some stuff on tape that Texas needs to prepare for. Because you got Texas, Georgia, obviously the Red River rivalry that went their way.
They've got, but you got to understand, they've got Vanderbilt lost to a team over there at Georgia State where several of their best defenders were out of that game. And accidents happen, kind of a thing. But Lord goodness, who knows? This football season is absolutely crazy, and I'm afraid that there is way too much parity, way more parity than I thought. I thought we were way better than what we appear to be. But,
what's your biggest concern?
I really did. My biggest concern right now is defensive line and a defensive coordinator that ain't putting enough, not only pressure, I want sacks. I want them going backwards. But he wants to put pressure on them. But the trouble is we're not putting enough pressure on them, making them give up the ball that much. We'll have some, but we need them going backwards, Ryan. But in the first game against Georgia, didn't we blitz more in the first half of the Georgia game than we have since? Or am I wrong about that? I could be wrong.
Just memory. There was so many things clicking on all cylinders. Martin described it as confidence. I used the word momentum.
Yeah, everything was going our way in that first half. And then all of a sudden, the script just totally changed. Wow. But anyway, hey, it's going to all be okay because we're going to get in the playoffs. And by that time, my man, Mr. Hale, is going to be back. And, hey, all's going to be forgiven. And we're going to just blow and go. Jalen Hale. So Pat told you. Oh, yeah.
I don't listen, Pat. I'd love to be able to.
I hope he is. Jalen Hale would make a lot of difference. You put him in there where they got a double team Ryan Williams, and isn't that possible?
You're asking for a young man that had an injury that, Pat. I mean, I like I like your optimism, but and I'm pulling for him, and I hope you're right, but I hope I'm wrong. But that would be I still see the young man walking around. I mean, it doesn't. Listen to me. He could have had. I mean, that could have been a career-ending injury, and well, I'm gonna keep it right there. I'm not going into medical confidentiality, but that was a severe injury, and if it hadn't been for some great medical team, Jeff Allen, all those guys over there, man, it could have it could have been a lot worse. Hey, Pat, appreciate you, man. Thank you. Huntsville's 39. Let me get to Rocket Man, and then I'll go to Steven. Rocket Man, good afternoon, sir. You're in the game. I hope all is well, man.
Hey, Ryan, roll tide.
Yeah, roll tide to you, man. Appreciate you calling in.
Hey, a couple quick questions.
Okay.
I got to thinking earlier. Brad Edwards, whatever happened to that guy?
Yeah, Brad is actually a guy that is he is doing real estate and up in, I say he retired when ESPN did all those cuts. But Brad's my buddy, man. I need to reach out to Brad. Brad's a great analyst. I'm sorry?
I used to like his analysis. His breakdown.
Me too. He was the BCS guru. He was an analytic guy. But Brad's a buddy of mine. Rocket Man, you may or may not know this, but Brad was an alum here at this program at the University of Alabama and really got his start in the sports information department at the University of Alabama. He walked on as a kicker, didn't make it as a kicker, and ended up going to the sports information department. And went to the University of Alabama that ended up at ESPN and kind of turned into the stats guru. And I don't think his major's in stats, but just a self-taught guy.
Yeah, I really liked him. He was pretty awesome. What about Q? What happened to him Saturday?
Quay Russo?
Yeah.
According to, let me see. We had so many coaches today, I'm making sure which one said it. They were kind of on a pitch count with him, trying to manage his injury. I believe that was according to Kane Womack, because Kane normally doesn't talk about injuries, but he was asked about Quay Russo, and I believe he's the one that said it, that he was on a pitch count, if I'm not mistaken. So should be ready to go. He had the injury. That was at Wisconsin. They thought it was my sources didn't tell me, but there was a lot of people out here reporting that it was a lot more severe, that it could have been a possible, not my season ending. It ended up not being. And they were able to navigate that, and we've seen him back in there. But according to Kane Womack, he was on a pitch count.
And Prentice and Lawson, they'll be back?
Think so. I saw Kendrick Law. He was not in street clothes. He was fully dressed, so I'm not sure that – I don't know if he was – trying to think of that injury report that came out on Saturday morning. Was he listed as doubtful or was he listed as out? But I was trying to figure out why he dressed out. That was the big thing. Let me look real quick. Final injury update. Okay, Kendrick Law was a game-time decision guy, and Kobe Prentice was out. So Kobe was in street clothes. That's why I saw Kendrick Law, fully dressed out. So he was a game-time decision. So something tells me he's really, really close. Kobe Prentice, didn't he go through wasn't he the kid that was maybe had a concussion? I mean, am I right about that? Sometimes these injuries kind of run together, but I thought Kobe's the one that took that big hit, didn't he? Should have got a double targeting call and didn't get either one of them.
Right. I agree earlier with Paul. This game means a lot. Referees what did he say? Three times extended plays on roughing the passer. That last one in South Carolina game was not roughing the passer. I don't get that, but I just hate to see a referee interfere with a W.
Yeah. So that's a big topic that you're looking at from a standpoint of officiating. I think what has made us more focused on the officials is because of what Robert said a couple of minutes ago, parity, or Pat said, parity. Parity makes it everything. Where it's just, it can go one way or the other, right? A 15-yard penalty really sets you up behind the 8 ball.
Right. Well, my good is the W for sure.
Sure.
I always want to. I'll take a 1-point win over anything for Bama. But man, the last 10 quarters we have definitely digressed as a team. Even Milroe on some of his decision making.
Got to get a little swagger back.
Ugly to me is the third down conversions for the opposing offense.
Wonder where we're at in the conference in third down conversions. Because that was pretty much what Kalen said earlier when we played the audio. He just said we got to get off the field on third down. Let's go to third down conversions. Opponent third down conversions. We're actually not as bad as what you think. Rocket Man, without looking, opponent third down conversion. So our defense against their team. Where do you think Alabama is in the 16 teams in the league? Where do you think Alabama is without looking?
Goodness, 8.
A little better than that. 6.
That's surprising.
That's crazy.
Where's Georgia on that list?
Let's see. Georgia's behind us at 8. Alabama's 6. Oklahoma's 7. Tennessee's the best in the country with a 24% conversion rate, and that's all about that production they get after the quarterback. Let's go to the month of October. Let me see if I can isolate these down. There's your story right there. There you go, Rocket Man. What have you done for me lately? Alabama in the month of October only, just isolating the 2 games in October, we are 15th in the SEC. Whew. Wow.
Yeah.
We're giving up 60% conversion rates, 19 of 32 attempts. 32 attempts, 19 conversions, 59.38, so 60%. Woo! Only one team worse than Alabama in the month of October. Let's go against ranked. See if that. Here's the crazy part. This will blow. This is absolutely blowing my mind. Guess where Alabama is against ranked teams? They're number one team in the SEC and ranked in conversions against top. Now they've only played one ranked, but I mean against the quality opponents they've played much better. I mean, I'm looking in the month of September. Let's just say August, September. We were second in the country. Excuse me, second in the SEC.
I can see that first game.
Yeah. Wow. All right.
3 onward. Awful.
Hey, Rocket Man, good stuff, man. I appreciate you as always.
Yeah, roll tide.
Thank you. Rocket Man, great call, man. Appreciate that. Stephen and Raleigh, get ready to you. Let me remind you about Northport Power Equipment. Northport Power Equipment. Brian Keith Ellis, Mr. Ellis, Northport Power Equipment, SCAG commercial mowers, residential mowers, commercial consumers, residential consumers. You can find those. Chainsaw needs and, all the different things that you're looking for to clean up these leaves. They're falling and they'll continue to fall. It is our good friends at Northport Power Equipment. Go over and see Brian Keith Ellis. End of the season savings. They've got a good inventory right now. Who knows what it will be like in the spring. So if you're thinking about upgrading, you can find some great deals. Also ask about some of the interest specials happening there. Chainsaw needs, pole saws, and backpack blowers, handheld blowers, weed trimmers. Still got a couple of more weeks of grass growing season. I cut mine this weekend, and hopefully, I'm pulling for this 46 degrees tonight. Put a little bit of shock on that grass. Slow it down just a little bit. I know you professionals out there don't want to hear that. The Nick Saban Pharmacist, 205-752-0627. The Pharmacy at Midtown, 1800 McFarland Boulevard, Suite 334. The Pharmacy at Midtown, the only sterile compounding facility here in Tuscaloosa. All the compounding needs. The Pharmacy at Midtown, TJ Thomas, the Pharmacy at Midtown, the retail side of the Pharmacy at Midtown, the Pharmacy at Midtown. I don't normally do this, but I'm going to do it today. I want you to call this number right here, okay? I want to leave a. I want to get more information. I also want to leave a complaint, but Here, call this number right here. I'm going to give it to you up on the screen. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for calling the Southeastern Conference. If you know your party's extension, you may enter it at any time. For the ticket office, press 1. For officiating, press 2. Your call has been forwarded to the voicemail for officiating. No one is available to take your call. At the tone, please record your message. When you've finished recording, you may hang up or press the pound key for more options.
Hey, this is Sam over here in Birmingham, and I just want to complain about these SEC officials. I think they're trying to rig the game where Alabama can possibly lose more games. We've kind of sniffed you guys out. We know what you're up to. We don't want to do it anymore, okay? We've been able to catch some officials talking about it. We've got them on record here of talking about how you're going to screw Alabama. Just understand that we're on to what you're thinking about, and we don't like it. Thank you. Hang on. All right. Stephen, Raleigh, North Carolina. Stephen, good afternoon. You're in the game.
Roll Tide, Ryan. How are you?
I'm good, Stephen.
Man, Ryan, I just don't know who's going to win from week to week these days. We're not the only team going through this trouble. They got exactly what they wanted. They got parity. I mean, and you look at some of these teams, and there's teams playing with things that should be playing with as you wouldn't normally do, you know. I don't know, Ryan. You guys were talking about third down conversions. Coming out of that Georgia game, we were one of the best in the country. Georgia did all the damage on fourth down. We stopped them on third down just about every time. And now the last 2 weeks, the defense, I mean, it's got to be the bad and the ugly.
Not good. Not good. I want to go to fourth down conversions. Oh, Lord. This is what's going to sting.
It's got to be bad, Ryan.
All games, all 6 games. Where do you think Alabama is in fourth down conversions?
As far as ranking?
Yeah.
120th.
Okay, I'm in the SEC, 1 through 16.
Oh, okay. 16.
Yeah, dead on the money. Let's go to national. Let's go to national conversions. See if we can make it look any better.
You know, Ryan, I still say all of our goals are ahead of us. I mean, they're still on the table if we just improve in certain areas.
We're 119th in the country in fourth down conversions for our opponents.
Yeah.
Ooh, man.
Yeah, it's not good. If we get off the field, improve in certain areas, like I said, our goals are still out there. The running backs, they look to me, especially Justice Haynes, looks like he's running timid. Our best running back is obviously our quarterback. This is things I wouldn't have believed before the season. Before the season, you said came home and wouldn't be with us very long, but he may not be with us very long, but it might not be for the reason that we thought it was originally. So,
do you believe in this team?
I do. I will never not believe in Alabama, Ryan. I believe that all of our goals are ahead of us.
History's on our side, man.
History's on our side. Every team out there is having trouble week to week. Who had Ole Miss on their bingo card having 2 losses halfway through the season?
Nobody. And now they get to play.
Nobody.
As there's a pathway there. But Ole Miss, I mean, you got some difficult games here.
Especially 2 losses before the Georgia game. Nobody had Ole Miss with 2 losses before they even played Georgia.
Hey, Stephen.
Yes, sir.
You know who they have as defensive coordinator, don't you?
I do. And I'm still glad he's not our defensive coordinator. I will never, ever.
I was watching Saturday against LSU, and I'm going, man, oh, man, oh, man, oh, man, oh, man. So Ole Miss has got Oklahoma. They got a bye week, so got to think about the LSU loss, 29-26. Then they they have Oklahoma at home. Then they go to Arkansas. Then they play Georgia at home. They play Florida and Mississippi State. So you get some winnable games, but you got some losable games too.
They do. I think they have 3 or 4 they might have 2 more losses ahead of them, Ryan. And their defense coordinator doesn't help them. Before I go here, I just want to, we're talking about Tennessee, and this is Tennessee week, and they're one of our rivals. We're not their rival. We got all these teams where we're their rival, but Tennessee and Auburn are our rival.
That's right, and we hate them.
And we hate them. One of my favorite wins over Tennessee was that first year Nick Saban was here. I think that was the Bookgate, maybe. But we went out there and blowed the freaking doors off those guys in 2007. And it just started that 17-year run. It literally took a referee calling pass interference with our guy 40 yards downfield for them to beat us.
That's right. Well, don't forget about the roughing the passer, the targeting for Bryce Young. You talking about 2 years ago? 2 years ago? I don't know.
Yes, I am. That still eats at my crawl. That freaking 40-yard pass interference, 40 yards downfield.
Call the SEC office back. I want to. No, never mind. I don't call them. Can we block our number? Do like *67 and then call them.
*67, wasn't that what it was?
*67 and then we'll call them. Hey, hold on. You want to leave it or you want me to, Stephen?
No, you go ahead.
Okay.
You go ahead. You're better at this stuff than me.
Okay. All right. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Thank you for calling the Southeastern Conference. If you know your party's extension, you may enter it at any time. For the ticket office, press 1. For officiating, press 2.
Your call has been forwarded to the voicemail for officiating. No one is available to take your call. At the tone, please record your message. When you've finished recording, you may hang up or press the pound key for more options.
Hey, this is Sam again in Birmingham. I called a couple of minutes ago, and I want to remind you guys, y'all screwed us in Knoxville. We remember that. You hit Bryce Young, completely targeting. We also saw the official fist pumping when he did the touchdown move. Now, we're up to you guys. We got to go back this weekend. Don't let us down. We're watching you. Integrity matters, right? It just means more. Thank you.
Ryan, for a conference that it just means more, they say that. For us to have this conference to have the officials they do have just blows my mind. I mean, the referees can't even see 40 yards downfield and they're freaking calling pass interference.
Yeah.
Isn't it sad when officials from other conferences are doing your game and they do a better job than the ones in your conference?
Yeah.
I mean, the Big Ten, when we went up to Wisconsin, did a fabulous. It was one of the best officiated games I've seen. I mean,
all right.
Anyhow,
I got to run,
Ryan,
Stephen.
You got people wanting to get in here. Yep, roll tide, man.
Thank you. Let's break here. We'll come back and we'll introduce the number one caller, and then we'll get to other callers right here at T-Town Tide 100.9 1230 WTBC. Your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. Got some red lights on Lurleen Wallace, pretty much typical on the northbound lanes to 20th Street. And it's got you pretty slow back to 5th. Also looking at McFarland on the east and westbound lanes between University and 15th Street. That is a little slow, but go. And
battles begin. Try the new 3-piece original recipe tenders, fries, and comeback sauce for $5. Only at KFC. It's finger-licking good. Prices and participation may vary. Taxes, tips, and fees extra.
The best sports talk show in all of Alabama. The Game with Ryan Fowler on your home for Alabama sports.